right, well, let's dig into it here. Last session, you guys commandeered a ship and got yourself set up with a crew comprised of what survivors were left after your assault on the Sea Ghost. You had dispatched most of the combatants from the crew and had delved into the various rooms on the ship, searching through items, looking for clues, looking for loot, finding some stuff, finding some coin. You delved down into the second floor of the ship, and you discovered that there was a bunch of people in the cargo hold. You did some substantial intimidating and were able to sort of win them over in a kind of crazy way. A little bit of coin didn't hurt, as well as I think at some point Byron had thrown 10 gold pieces at each of the 6 remaining crew members. There were 6 of them plus Fritz, who is their foreman, so to speak. He was in the cargo hold with Korga, Tamis, Kyle, Leo Coast, that one fucking guy, and the other guy. And eventually you discussed matters with them, got them involved with procuring the rest of the stolen dwarven loot from the headquarters, the hideout back on shore underneath the haunted mansion. Rhunar negotiated with Fritz salary for the crew, and for Fritz becoming the quartermaster, at least for the time being, his position on the ship. You reacquainted yourself with ship life and some of the roles that are needed to pilot a ship successfully, and we discussed some of that stuff. I shared some of the details of different roles and responsibilities with you guys. And you came up with a plan to head to the Dwarven Mine, I believe, to drop off some of the stolen goods. You had recovered a large crate filled with very finely made, expensive-looking mining equipment, along with the foodstuffs and the brandy barrels that were in the cavern below the haunted house. And in the cargo hold, there were a bunch of barrels of that brandy with the Dwarven Mine stamp. Apparently, they really like their brandy over there at the mine. There's a bunch of other stuff that you found in the cargo hold, including a bunch of really fine silks and some wine casks and other things, which we went through and discussed. And so your plan was to head to the Dwarven Mine to return the stolen property, to spend a little bit of time, I believe, on the seas, before heading back to Saltmarsh, to give the impression that you had picked up a crew, perhaps in Seaton. And I think that was the plan anyways. So we kind of pick up on the deck of the Sea Ghost, the 4 of you having had this discussion and sort of making preparations to depart. What would you like to do?
Well, as the resident boatswain, self given title. I'm self-appointed. There, thank you. I can't find my words today. I'm gonna do a full over of the ship. Basically, walk around, look for any planks that might be, rotting and disrepair. Any areas where maybe water might be coming in, places that need to be cleaned, rearranged. Anything that needs to be tightened down.
Absolutely. You can go ahead and roll a water vehicle. Well, is it water vehicles for a boatswain with, and you're looking for, it's kind of like a perception check in a way, so use wisdom as your base modifier. You actually have the boatswain background too, don't you?
I have the shipwright background.
Or shipwright, that's right. I'm trying to find
so I'm familiar and in this type of thing.
Shipwright. Okay. Yeah. What did you roll? A 7? Okay. I mean, you spend the better part of an hour to 2 hours doing as good of an inspection as you can / have the patience for, and you do find areas that need work. Certainly, there's always work to be done on a ship, and that's one of the things that any of you that have a background in sailing or marine life or anything like that would know that the life of a sailing crew is not an easy one. But yeah, you do find a couple of different spots where you can make some improvements for sure.
I will order one or two of. I'll order the 2 guys whose names I don't know. That one guy and that one other guy.
That one fucking guy and the other guy.
Yep.
Yep.
I want those guys.
Okay.
To do the repairs. So I'll stand over them and watch them as they do it.
All right. We'll refer to them collectively as the guys.
The guys.
Yep. All right. So they come over and they're following orders. Are you gonna help them, or are you just kind of giving them instructions on what to do?
I'll help them.
All right. Go ahead and roll a carpenter's tools check with, I guess, intelligence or dexterity, maybe. Yeah, dexterity.
I'm gonna go with dexterity.
Yeah, and then roll it with advantage because they're helping you out, or you're helping them. Okay. So,
not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So you're able to make some definite improvements. I haven't come up with hit points for the ship yet, necessarily, or what it's at right now. But you definitely are able to improve these areas that you find defective in the hull.
Beautiful.
So you definitely make a positive impact. While he is doing that for a couple of hours, so it took about 2 hours to inspect, and then another hour to 2 hours to start patching and working. What are the other folks doing?
Just reviewing my responsibilities as captain. I see that we can get advantage on our travel if we have a map. So do we have a map of the area?
Definitely talk to Theo
We
on
have
that one.
several
You have
of the area
Yep,
according
you
to my
do.
inventory.
Yep, you picked up one of you picked up a map. It must be Theo off of the desk, the writing desk in the captain's quarters.
Right. Okay. So I just wanted,
So what you have, essentially, what that map is a relatively well drawn coastal map of the Saltmarsh. Basically, it covers between Saltmarsh and maybe Engelberg. That's the one that would be most applicable to what you're doing. And it's got, some notable landmark features and things like that to aid with the navigation.
Theo was in fact already looking at them.
And Theo, were you gonna be the navigator?
Pretty much
Did
that
we
and first
decide?
officer right now.
Okay. Just double checking here.
Well, so the captain really fulfills the navigator role. So there's
Okay,
the helmsman is the one who actually pilots the ship.
Right.
That's what I
And
meant.
so the way that it works is that the captain in the role of navigator makes a check at various points throughout a day of travel. And then whatever that check comes out to be, it potentially assists or helps the helmsman in his check to follow a course.
Okay.
So think about it this way: the captain kind of sets the course, and the helmsman follows the course.
Okay. All right.
So you guys are studying the map for a bit and kind of finalizing your plans.
Yeah, sounds good. Now, did we decide that we were going to Saltmarsh, like,
First we go
immediately? Or
to the dwarves, then we
right.
essentially just spend a day or two at anchor so we can say we went to Seaton, sure, and got an actual crew and not former pirates.
Okay.
We could even just pop over to Seaton.
I mean, we
I
could.
want to go to Saltmarsh though. I don't want to
Yeah.
get stuck in Seaton. Let's just
That's
stick around for a day.
That's true.
So the plan is to drop off stuff at the mine.
Yep. And then
Okay.
I say we just sail straight back to Saltmarsh. And if anyone asks about our crew, we can stick them where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, I mean, we always could like anchor for a night back in front of the house here, you know, just so the mine doesn't see us and Saltmarsh doesn't see us. I don't know, just. But I guess the mine the mine will see our whole crew. So if we're trying to cover for the crew.
But remember, these guys are they're like, I mean, yeah, they've been on the pirate crew, but they're not like
the face of
they're
the
not like the
operation.
pirates.
Right.
At least that was my assumption. That's the
They're
feeling I
certainly
got
not
from
the
it.
people that would have been ashore at any point.
Right.
They're
exactly.
indentured servants, and we have freed them of their. Fuck, I can't find words today.
What you as you guys are talking, and you see Fritz kind of ordering folks around the decks, organizing things, still cleaning up after the battle on the deck, on the main deck. He seems pretty busy, making things ready.
Okay.
At some point, he comes over and says, "Well, Captain, yeah, what are your orders then? What's the plan?"
Get ready to sail toward the mine.
Aye.
Get the men ready. We're getting the boat ready, and we're gonna sail by the mine today.
Yes, Captain, right away. And he hurries off, and they begin to make ready, which essentially takes approximately 10 minutes or so to make ready a ship. Now, there's ways to sort of decrease that time that's required. You can decrease it by 1 minute for every person who's proficient in water vehicles that's involved in making ready. So just keep that in mind. If you need to kind of make a speedier getaway type of situation, you might all get involved with that.
We need
Okay.
to jump to warp before the Cylons get here.
Correct. Yeah. But for this, for example, there's no rush or anything, so you don't necessarily need to worry about that. But if there is a rush, you could potentially knock that down by 3 minutes if the three of you who have proficiency in water vehicles are helping make ready, just as an FYI.
Okay.
So these guys get working on prepping the lines and the sails, getting organized, lashing down things, stowing things away, and then eventually raising and housing the anchor.
Theo's going to help with
Why,
that as well.
Okay, so that cuts it down to 9 minutes.
I want to bring up real quick, and we don't have to obviously do it now, and we can discuss if we need to do it before we get to the mine, but maybe we see if there's some, I don't know, extra paint or whatever on board and rechristen the ship.
Right. No, that's a good idea.
We should definitely do that, says Theo from the rigging.
I don't want to get attacked like the minute we roll into Saltmarsh Harbor
Yeah.
with a Navy ship potentially sitting there.
And maybe figure out what colors we have on board.
Yeah, we definitely want to strike any pirate colors they have flying. So, no flags right now.
Well, I just did a once over of the ship to see if there was anything wrong with it. Would I have seen any pirate colors, Dave?
What did you roll? Well, roll a perception check for when you were sort of looking
Look
around
up.
for.
Is there a flag?
There is not a flag currently flying.
Okay.
You did in the workshop area in the bow of the ship. You did find not only supplies for patching, tar and planks and nails and things of that nature, but you did find a bunch of sail pieces, and there are a couple of old flags in there of various colors, some different insignias on them. Some of which you recognize. You recognize one as a trading company, like a commercial merchant vessel type organization out of Gradzul that you're familiar with. You see one that has some vaguely familiar Keoland naval colors on it. And then you see, obviously, there is a white flag, and then there is also a black flag.
Okay. Well, I'll grab the white flag. Do we have any paint in the room as well?
Yes, there is paint.
All right, I'll grab the paint, all of the paint, whatever paint it is, and if I need to, I'll ask those guys to help me. The guys to help me.
The guys? Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the guys.
They're basically.
And I'll bring it up on deck, and I'll bring it to Rhunar, and I'll say, Rhunar, I have this empty white flag. Would you like to do the honors of painting us an insignia?
Certainly, I wouldn't. I mean, sure, I wouldn't mind the help either. If anybody wants to chime in with any ideas.
Fritz kind of shouts over his shoulder, says, "Yeah, I mean the name of the ship is also on the side. You got to paint that too then."
Right, I figured.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
We don't necessarily need a flag.
it's not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is also something we could do. Do you think we need to like hide the identity of the boat when we pull into Saltmarsh?
I mean, if people know that this ship is the Sea Ghost and
We
that
to-
it is a privateer, then that
We
Is-
told the town guard, that we were going after this boat.
we didn't know the name. Did we know the name of it?
We were told
No.
the name of.
I thought we were told by. Those
Yeah,
guys
you
that-
did. You did know the name of it.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Yep,
that's right.
You knew
Yeah.
the captain's name. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, well, fuck. I guess in that case, who cares? If they
Yeah.
know
I mean, if it's
us-
sailing into the I mean, if it's
And
sailing in.
I imagine the flag is a white flag of surrender.
I mean, none of us are French, though.
Like based on my marine background, Dave, what I know.
And I would never surrender.
Perhaps
Um,
we just
What I
It-
know the function of the white and the
see what
black
happens.
flags.
yeah, the black flag is something that you would have in pursuit. A red flag would mean that you give someone else warning that you're gonna run them down, essentially, that you'll give them no quarter. White is a sort of like waving the white flag. You know, it's kind of like we're not gonna put up a fight type of situation. So that might be with your sort of background in the Marines, that might be the more appropriate of the flags to fly if you are gonna fly a flag, because it would sort of give off the idea that you're not a threat.
Right. All right. Well,
But we are.
yeah, for anybody that tries to mess with us. So, I don't know. Any ideas for what we name the ship?
we think about
Right.
that while we are.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's.
Theo's just kind of comes back by. There are other things I wanted to talk about as well. There's much to talk about. It's fine.
Theo and Rhunar, one of you guys roll water vehicles intelligence with advantage.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna kind of shadow whoever and see what they're doing, because I don't know anything about ships. Really. other than
As you're kind of standing there, Irin, the guy that you were on watch with, Kyle, kind of comes over and says, "Hey, you need something to do?
Sure.
All right, follow me." And he kind of shows you. He kind of guides you into it a little bit, gives you some assistance.
Cool.
15. Yeah, you from examining the maps, the two of you get the feeling that it's probably 2 to 3 hours to the Dwarven mine, approximately. I mean, you've never been there, but knowing that it's about halfway, or that you are already halfway, you figure that it's probably about 2 hours. And it's not on the map. Like, the Dwarven mine is newer than the map is. So the map doesn't say like Dwarven mine right here, but you can see where you are on the coastline roughly, based on the topography, and you know where Saltmarsh is. So you're able to get a pretty decent idea of how long it's going to take. You think 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
If things go according to plan.
Right.
They always go according to plan. What are you
Why
talking
you gotta do that to us?
So Fritz runs up to you and says, "Captain, we're ready to set sail."
All right, you guys ready? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so I'll take the helm and we'll get underway.
Okay,
Because
so
we don't have a helmsman, right?
you need to have a helm.
Unless-
Someone
Theo
has
was
to
gonna
helm.
do that.
You,
All right,
you
well,
have to have
okay,
a helm.
Theo will take the helm then.
Okay, so you have gone ahead and let's see. You've gone ahead and studied the charts. So as the captain, I'd like you to roll a wisdom, either probably a nature or survival check. It looks like either one of those will work.
Okay.
Just roll 1 for me, and you get +1 to that roll because you have.
Nature or
you have a map.
survival?
Nature or
Did you say-
survival, yep.
Okay. And +1.
Okay. All right, so 13.
Plus
so, okay, so
14.
14. Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so now as you set sail, the sails drop, and the wind fills them, and you all feel the either familiar or unfamiliar lurch of the ship as it catches the wind and starts to move forward, and the pace picks up, and you kind of look around, Rhunar, and you see smiles on the crew's faces, and especially Fritz and the boys. They're excited to be moving on from this place. At the helm, Theo, I'd like you to roll a survival or looks like nature check as well, and you are also going to get a +1 to that because of Rhunar's navigation roll.
It's actually 23.
Very nice. Yeah, so everything seems to go smoothly. You guys are moving along. The map seems to be helping. Theo, it's nice to feel sort of the creak of the ship beneath your feet again, and it's very familiar territory for you. And you feel very confident in your ability to pilot this craft towards your
Theo.
destination.
Theo will in fact start singing a local sea shanty, which with a reasonably good voice.
All right, go ahead and roll a performance check. That's fun. Ooh. you kind of forget some of the words, but you belt out a decent song. Kind of the guys look around and they're at first they're sort of like, what the hell is he doing? But then a couple of them recognize the song, or at least the rudimentary sort of composition that you're trying to sing, and so they sort of join in to help you, and it becomes sort of a bit of a team building experience for folks. Starts out a little rough, but eventually with the other guys jumping in, it starts to sound pretty good.
I
Hey,
did that to make
trust
them look
fall.
good. Yeah.
And that actually gives you guys a bonus to your morale. So congratulations.
Nice.
You've got a morale score that I'm going to keep track of.
Hooray!
All right. So 2 hours go by. Somebody roll a d20 for me. Anybody?
I'll do it.
Go for it.
The wind is strong. It's at your back. The ship is crashing through the waves as it makes its way east. You don't see any other ships on the horizon. It's just a bluebird day, and it's beautiful. And you feel, Irin, it's not your native habitat to be on a ship, but it feels good to be moving this fast.
Nice.
With the wind in your beard. 2 hours pass, and one of the crew members, Tamis, shouts out and says, "I think that there's the dwarven mine up ahead." you can see where there's this kind of cut in the rather high cliffs that overlook this part of the ocean. There's this, almost like someone took a chisel and gouged out this path down to the ocean, and you can see a couple of buildings, small buildings, and a dock.
All right, it's a smaller dock, though. It's not like the type of dock we can pull this kind of boat to.
No, nope. It would be one of those in operation where you'd probably need to make a couple of trips with the smaller, the smaller boat.
Okay.
The captain's yacht.
Is there like a protected type of like harbor setup or anything that we can like easily park to do that?
There's no protected harbor. It's fairly exposed here.
Okay. But I mean, does it look as though they receive cargo from here?
It's hard to tell from the distance, but there's a dock there, so it must serve some sort of purpose. Either it's receiving people being transported or cargo. It would make sense, though, that they would ship cargo to and from the mine via the ocean, since it's probably the quickest transportation.
All right,
And
so
potentially the safest, depending on the pirate situation.
It's Duluth.
So I'd like to just like look for the ideal parking spot, I guess.
Sure, yeah, and you're able to it depends on how close you want to get to the coastline, to the shoreline, but it doesn't look like there's any reefs that you can see or anything like that. It's open water until the edge of of land. So it depends on how close you want to get. Now the ship was approximately 500 feet from the coast when you waged your assault and took over the ship, so you could use that as sort of a judgment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how about we go about the same distance and
What about 300 feet?
yeah, set like an anchor.
Okay, yeah, you're easily able to do that. They furl the sails and drop the anchor, and the crew starts preparing to disembark with the smaller boat, and they're loading casks of brandy onto it. And luckily, it's a pretty calm day on the seas because they're loading it up pretty good.
Okay.
They're hoping to make as few trips as possible.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. Should we go to shore at the same, with this first thing, so they know what's going on with
Oh,
this first?
definitely.
Yeah.
Always go bearing gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll load this first boat up kind of light so that we can also go on it.
Okay, you give that order to the crew.
Yeah.
Are we all gonna get on it?
I was just about to ask that. Do you think
One
we
of
should?
us should stay behind.
Yeah. One or two of us.
I'll stay behind.
All right. That sounds good.
I'll go.
I think Irin should definitely come
I'm a
for
dwarf.
his dwarven presence.
Shit, you're a dwarf? I've been confused this whole time.
I don't know. Do you guys think that I need to go ashore, or should we send
You're
three of
Rhunar
us, or
You're
two of
Rhunar
us?
Deg.
Okay. And I know the guy's name, the foreman. Let me find it.
It is Irwin Slatecutter.
Irwin Slatecutter. All right.
All right.
Irwin?
So
Irwin?
yeah, Irwin. So so Theo, Irin, and Rhunar are going to head ashore in the first ship, the first boat.
Yeah.
Okay. So the three of you, once the boat is loaded, you get in. It looks like Leo Coast is going to be piloting the small boat to shore, and so the four of you get into the boat and set off.
Should we arrange some kind of signal in case something goes down?
Oh, you will see it from here. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Just making sure everybody is being cautious.
Washes.
All right. Yeah. So let's go.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of a whole lot of time to get to shore. Leo's a pretty big, strong guy, and you can help him too, but he's rowing the boat as he gets you closer to shore. You can see that there's a little bit of activity at these small, what look to be small warehouse sort of looking buildings. So now as you get closer, you definitely get the sense that they accept cargo here and possibly store things either as they're importing goods or exporting maybe ore samples or whatever items they're mining. You get the sense that this is sort of an operations center. This isn't the mine itself. As you get closer, you can see that there's a road that kind of winds its way back into this canyon and disappears in the mountainside. And as you get closer, some of the dock workers notice you, and two of them come over. One stands and kind of greets you as you approach, and the other one helps to tie off your boat as you arrive at the dock. And the one standing says, "Well, well, well, what do we have here? We were not expecting any deliveries today."
Yeah, sorry for the sudden arrival. My name is Rhunar Deg.
Yes, yes, and your business here?
I'm on business with the mine. I need to speak with Irwin Slatecutter.
Irwin, yes. He's up at the mine headquarters. I guess I'll fetch him for you. And
yeah, that'd be ideal.
the dwarf turns around and he starts walking briskly back towards the buildings, and he ends up hopping on a cart and taking a cart back into this sort of canyon. Meanwhile, this other guy, he looks over and says, "Howdy, let me help you get out of there," and he kind of stabilizes the craft for you as you hop out, and then he and Leo start working on getting things pulled out of the boat and up onto the dock.
I'll help with that too.
Theo will help as well.
Thank you. Where are you guys coming from? Saltmarsh?
Yes, we recently started working with Magda.
Menestred.
Henestred. I don't know. I just said nice things to her. She asked us to take care of getting you back a few things, and we've brought you back a few things.
Whoa! Look at all this brandy. Hell yeah! We've been waiting for this shipment. This is great news. The boys are going to be excited. Fantastic.
I unload the crate of smoking jackets that goes with the brandy. Just a bunch of dwarves in smoking jackets with brandy sniffers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very good. Yes.
A bunch of cigars from Jetsam Island.
Exactly.
So you guys, it's about a half hour, 45 minutes. You finally get things loaded onto the dock. The dwarven guy heads out, and he's kind of storing things back in the I guess what you'd call sort of like the warehouses, but they're smaller than that. They're more like sheds. But he's kind of stashing things over there and piling them up, getting ready for loading them into that cart that the other dwarf took off with. Eventually, the cart returns, and you see two dwarves, the familiar face of the guy that greeted you, and then another dwarf with a sort of a bright red beard that's braided into two braids that kind of stick out below it, about almost to his waist. He's a pretty well endowed dwarf, and he has this leather jacket on. It's kind of a short-tailed jacket with a bunch of pockets, and you can see that in his pockets as he gets off the cart and walks over to you. They look to be stuffed with small implements and papers, rolled up papers and things like that. And he's got what looks to be some sort of a homemade toothpick in his mouth, and he walks up and says, "Sounds like you're Rhunar Deg then?" And he looks over at Irin.
No, I'm Rhunar.
Oh, my apologies.
Rhunar Deg is this man.
Have you heard lately from Menestred Copperlocks?
Yes. She mentioned that you were going to be taking care of a little problem that we were having.
Yeah.
He looks over at the cargo and he's like, "Seems to be like you're successful."
Yes, well, there's been a noticeable decrease in the amount of skeletons walking into your camp, correct?
Yeah, but come to think of it, we didn't have any sort of disruptions last night, so yeah,
we found a group that was holding these creatures, these skeletons, and using them as a distraction while they rob your mine. And they were camped out at that abandoned house down the coast.
Oh, that haunted place, huh?
Yeah, that's the one.
I heard that place was haunted with all kinds of ghosts and ghouls. Hell of a cover for a bandit hideout. Smart thinking. Well, the team's going to be pretty happy to have all this brandy, and I'll tell you what, we're excited to have our equipment back too.
Yeah, well, that was the agreement, is that once we, shut down this operation, that we'd bring your cargo back. So.
Well, you're true to your word. All right, boys, let's get this stuff loaded up and back up to the HQ.
Oh, don't worry, we still have to go back for more.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
For time's sake, would you have a boat to spare to come help us unload some of this?
Yeah, let me call down a couple more boys, and we'll send out another boat with you. Why don't you guys get started, and we'll have them catch up to you. And he kind of goes back, and he stops and turns back. And he says, "Thank you very much, gentlemen. We really appreciate the assistance. This is a huge benefit to the mining operation, and I know the royalty will be real happy about that. So, much obliged." And he heads out.
Thank you.
So you guys are able to, head back to the ship over the course of the next couple of hours. The cargo is offloaded. At the end of a long day, the sun is starting to set. You kind of look around, and you guys have done some good work today. You feel accomplished, and the men are in good spirits. I think there's this general sense of excitement about maybe doing some work that's a little bit more above board and a little bit more honest work, and I think the morale benefits as a result of that. So you get that sense as well.
Nice. All right. Well, does this seem like an all right place to spend the night, like boat wise?
Yeah, I mean it's not super protected, but the real protected areas would either be going to Seaton or Saltmarsh. But the weather seems good, and right now anyhow, and you don't get the sense that your ship is in any danger.
Okay. All right. So I guess we should just plan on spending the night here, right? Unless you guys think we should travel through the night.
Yeah, I think we're fine staying here, or at most maybe going a little bit further down so they don't see us for some reason. But it doesn't matter. We should be fine.
And Rhunar, one thing, and pretty much anybody with a sailing background, you don't typically travel at night unless there's a really good reason to travel at night. Typically, you travel during the day, and then you furl the sails and take a break at night.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Especially with a small crew. Okay, so you guys kind of make preparations. The crew is really making preparations. Fritz has got people, he keeps them busy, and he seems to really know what he's doing. Every once in a while, he comes over to either Theo or Rhunar and kind of checks in to see if there's any additional, anything they need or any additional orders that you might have. He definitely understands sort of the hierarchy of the chain of command here. The rest of the crew doesn't really say a whole lot to Rhunar. They're still a little intimidated by you, but they seem to be in good spirits.
At some point during this, Theo would like to get everybody together at like one of the tables in one of the nice rooms to sit down and have a chat.
Card game?
Certainly. Is there should we meet in the captain quarters or whatever? I don't know where the
I mean, that is probably best. It is your quarters.
Let's do it.
You are the captain.
Yeah, touche.
You guys don't need to use tokens and stuff right now, but I'll have the ship map up just so you can see the ship, and if you need to, for whatever reason, refer to areas or something. But okay, so you all you head down into the captain's quarters, and there's 3 chairs and a bed that you can sit on. Or actually, no, yeah, that's right. There's a couch. right there, and a couple of chairs. So
With the scrounge up another chair or two. at some
easy to
point.
do.
Theo will stand. He's fine. She's like,
Yeah,
"What?"
I'll also stand probably.
Theo's just like, well, that went really well. Although I have my reservations about who those people were, because those were the best fucking pirates I've ever met. But two things I just want to touch on. One, did you know we got 2 enchanted items recently?
2 enchanted items
Yes.
in the boat here.
Well, one on the boat,
ones?
one the other place. Here, and Theo pulls out the stone with the weird glyph on it and puts that on the table, and then he pulls out the fancy gold compass and sets that down. So, the stone, it is literally a lucky stone, but like it actually works. It's actually lucky. It will make you better at things. Out of character, it gives you advantage on one ability score set of checks.
The Luckstone?
Yeah. The other thing here, this compass, it's a magical goddamn compass. It's got a little compartment here, and if you put something in there, or like some dirt or something, you see there's a big needle that is always north, and then the tiny needle points towards wherever that dirt came from, or the rock came from, or wherever.
Oh,
So,
that could be extremely useful.
Yeah.
I know. This is why I figured I should probably put these on the table and let people know what's going on, and go, hey, does anyone want or need these?
Well, the lucky stone would really help piloting the boat and navigating. Your always being able to find our way back from somewhere with that compass would be very useful.
If I could help me find my brother.
Well, we would need dirt. We would need. I mean, what
Something.
can
Yes.
anything like go in the compass, or is it supposed to be like some piece of land?
Earth, sand, dirt, or small pebbles.
Oh, well. I guess we'll see then.
Right.
Man
I
dirt.
just
Do I have any
shared
man
that with
dirt?
you.
What's that?
I just shared
Dave?
both of those items with you guys, so you'll be able to look at them.
Okay.
But yeah, basically Theo's knowledge of these items is pretty extensive in terms of how they operate. He spent some time taking a look at them, and with this compass, you can fill this little compartment with sand, earth, dirt, pebbles from a location, and the large needle will always point towards the spot where that stuff was taken from.
That's cool.
And right now it's empty, so the needle just kind of spins slowly around in a circle.
Ooh.
Right. Well,
Yeah, pretty handy.
checking out this.
Guys, we could hide all of our stuff on a remote ass island when we get richer than rich and just don't want to haul it around anymore,
That's true.
and bury it really, really deep. But as long as we take some of that dirt and put it somewhere on the ship, we can always find it.
Yes, that's how it works.
And then Theo, you are currently attuned to the Luckstone, because it does require attunement.
I never actually attuned to it, which is why he brought it up, because we never got around to it.
Well, I thought you spent time with it on a short rest, which would have caused it to become attuned to you.
I
I'm
thought
almost
you said.
positive you did.
I thought you said since I took the time to get to know it, I knew what it did, but I'd need a second short rest to attune to it, which is why I hadn't mentioned that.
Mm-mm.
I'll say I'm attuned. Okay.
Yep.
I think you're attuned now. Doesn't seem to be. No.
Anyone around?
Well, I mean, this stone could help us with a lot. An ability check. It'd be useful for sailing. It'd
Yeah.
be useful for looking at the journal.
Ooh.
It's, you know, it'd be useful in combat. So, you know, I'm perfectly fine with, like, having us just use this as a team, you know, I think would be good. But more immediately, I mean, we're spending the night here, so maybe Byron, maybe you should take this and use it to try to examine the journal.
Does it allow you? Does it give you? Does it keep you awake?
I don't think it does.
Fortunate.
But I can still do an investigation check on a long rest.
I don't know if it'll keep you awake for your watch, but
We have coffee for that.
you know,
No,
we
it
can
should.
we can
No, I
work
should
on
sleep
that.
just
Maybe
fine, guys.
we can figure something else out.
Don't worry about my watch. That was one time.
I'm the captain of the ship now. I have to worry about this kind of thing.
It was one time.
All right. Well, this is good. This is great. These will be really useful.
Can I have the luck stone?
Yeah, I would say Byron should take the luck stone if everybody agrees.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how about until we find a better location? Maybe when we get to Saltmarsh, we'll put the some soil from Saltmarsh in the compass. I don't know.
Who do you want to hold on to the compass?
Maybe Theo should hold on to it for now.
Yeah.
If he's
Yeah, why
going
don't
to
you
be
just
the
hold on to it?
helmsman.
Or we could put it in that fancy bag that Byron has.
I mean, I also
Somewhere
have
safe.
a fancy bag, so this was in the fancy bag.
Oh yeah, you guys have two
or-
bags of holding now,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, I think we should put it in that bag.
Do
My
I
bag
still
is
have,
stuffed. I do not want to put any more in.
Okay, do
Okay,
we still
I'll
have,
have it in my bag.
Do we still have like a lockbox here that functions?
Oh yeah.
The captain quarter.
Yep.
All right, so why don't we just lock it up then?
I say we inspect the ship more and see if we can find anything else hidden.
Okay. Captain's quarters might be a good place to look.
Well, that is something we can do over the next couple of days. The other thing we should talk about, though, is, you know, when we get in a fight, we need to work on coordinating a little better. We almost did get our asses kicked there. So I was thinking, just two thoughts. You know, argue with me or whatever. One, we should always have a combat buddy. Everybody has a friend they fight with. That way, you know, we don't have situations where someone does like a really neat thing and knocks someone out of the crow's nest and then gets jumped by 3 people and almost dies. Because I
Right.
felt really bad about that.
Yeah. Yeah,
For sure. It was
we got really
two guys
split
and a
up.
monkey.
Yeah. We got really split up there. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you think there's like an ideal arrangement as far as that goes, or just
I
pick a buddy
don't.
when it
I
happens?
think it's just to make sure you have a buddy and nobody gets left by themselves.
Yeah, don't spread out too much. Okay.
What if we just say it in battle? Like that doesn't matter.
I mean, that's
Or-
fine.
If you're
Right.
close to somebody, just say you're my buddy now.
Or if you want
Is that going to be our battle cry? You're my buddy.
You're my buddy now.
Yeah.
I like it. It actually
That's
comes
how
up
they
back
know
at
they
that
should-
point.
They should fucking run. They hear that. That's like a nightmare that pirates tell in 30 years. You remember they hear you're my buddy, pirates? They'd scream, "You're my friend, you're my pal," and then they'd kill you.
Yeah, we should just name the boat the Good Buddy.
What have I done? I like all of that. The other thing I was saying is just remember to kind of stick to one target and whittle him down and then move to the other one, so that we can take care of people quickly and efficiently, and they don't kill us, because I don't like being dead.
Right. Yeah, I generally like to keep attacking once I started on somebody. Otherwise, you're just spreading it around too much. And
Yeah, and make sure you and your buddy are trying to work on the same person if possible.
Well, I also think if we have the ability to just take them out of the equation even for just a little bit. Whether that's like, I don't know, cutting their eyes out, or I don't know, throwing them off a ship. We should do that.
You know, if you can cut someone's eyes out in a fight, you are terrifying, but I support that. Kicking them off the ship, definitely with you there. I enjoyed doing that to the other captain, who was great. But
Yeah,
that was
that
it.
helped a lot actually. Remove him from the equation for for long enough to focus on the other ones.
Also pulling people down. That was brilliant, by the way. Taking them out of the crow's nest. Mwah! You made it look so easy.
Thanks. He resisted a little bit.
Just
I
enough.
thought you just killed yourself when you jumped out of the crow's nest. A final dying punch. But then you were like, nah, I'm good.
You know,
Boy. Oof.
you got a hard head.
Okay. That was it. That was all I wanted to make sure we went over. I felt kind of weird having like these two magic items all by myself.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, these will definitely help.
So
Yeah,
Theo,
I mean,
Theo, you
If anyone
hand
wants
the.
the Lockstone, just let me
Are you
know.
handing the stone? You hand the stone to Byron. Byron, you put it in your pocket.
Yep.
All right.
And I'll just lock up the compass in the chest in my room.
Sounds good. All right.
Dave, do I need attunement to this?
Yeah,
stone
you'll have to
use
spend
it?
some time to try to attune to it. So,
There's-
at
there's
this
just a
point,
short
you
rest.
hear a bell ring, and it looks as though the other fucking guy has been busy in the kitchen making dinner,
Oh god, I hope he can fucking cook.
getting some food together.
That's
One of the
Um,
guys. They
yep.
know what they're doing.
So with most of the duties sort of finished for the immediate future, the crew heads up to the bow and get some chow, and then heads down into the lower deck to sit at their dinner table and have some dinner. Fritz makes his way up to Rhunar and says, "Yeah, Captain, I gotta show you something. Just so you know, if you don't mind, follow me." And he walks down into the cargo hold, and he opens the door to his quarters, and he walks you into the quarters. He leads you in. He says, "Yeah, in the spirit of full disclosure, I thought it'd be good to show you this." And he walks over to an area right against this wall here, and he pushes on a plank on the wall, and a door pops open. And he says, "Couple of secret compartments, for some more sensitive items." And if you poke your head in there to look in, and you can see a burlap sack that seems to be kind of ripped and bursting open, maybe chewed on by rats. It has straw inside of it, and there is a manacle right here that's bolted to the wall. There's just a little bit of dried blood on the floor. It's been a while, but sometimes we have to keep the ne'er-do-wells or mutineers down in there. There's one in the other room too, and he walks you into this other room over here, and there's another hatch in this corner that pops back into an currently empty secret compartment. That's pretty big. These are like 10 feet in length and 5 feet wide, roughly.
Okay.
They're basically walk-in closets.
They are.
All right. These
Secret.
will come in handy, Fritz. Thanks for showing me this.
Yeah, you betcha.
You did good today.
Thank you, Captain. And he says, "Let's go get some chow."
Yeah.
So he heads back up. You guys get some food, and it's not great. I mean, it's okay. Like, you think to yourself, maybe we need to find a cook when we're in port. That might be a good addition to the team. But it passes. The rest of the crew is happy, And again, it seems as though there's this sort of renewed sense of excitement as this crew has survived not only the battle, yesterday's battle, but they've also been able to keep their jobs, which is good. Yeah, so dinner goes, uneventfully, and I guess for the sake of narrative, we can sort of fast forward slightly, unless there's anything you guys want to do before nightfall.
I think as soon as we're pretty much done in here, in the main office, I'm gonna end up going to the cargo hold.
Okay.
And looking at literally everything we have, and I'm gonna make a tally of it all.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna just kind of take records and write down all the cargo. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm gonna inspect it all, like top to bottom, see if there's any cargo hidden in the cargo, see if there's anything fishy going on here.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. You can spend some time doing that. Not a problem. Anyone else?
Actually, I'll pull somebody else in if anyone else wants to help me do that.
Yeah,
I feel...
I'll do that.
And we should literally just document it all.
Yeah, smart. So you take the evening and work on inventorying what's left of the cargo. How about anybody else?
I'd like to just double check these hidden compartments and just make sure there's no additional hidden compartments inside of them.
Okay, sure.
I doubt there is, but just
Tier 2.
For the sake of being thorough.
Sure. You go ahead and roll an investigation check.
All right. Just get a good idea of what's inside. Investigation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you give them a thorough once over, and you push on planks and pat the walls, and you even look underneath this sort of rat. You can see rat turds all over this straw bale, burlap sack area, but no, you don't find any additional compartments.
All right. I will leave it at that and just make sure they're closed back up again.
And it does look like the blood stains in that left compartment they seem to be pretty old.
Okay.
Theo is just climbing all over the rigging, working about on deck. He's happier than a pig in shit, you can tell. He is just overjoyed to be back on a boat. And two, he's just getting used to it, kind of, the idiosyncrasies of how the mast is arranged, how the sails tend to behave. Just getting to know the ship.
Okay. Good idea. And that's it's like you've been on land for a long time, relatively speaking, and so it does feel good to be back on the ocean. All of you guys are excited at what this ship, what it holds for your future. It seems to be opening up some opportunities for you, and possibly some challenges. All right, so night comes, and it is a cloudless sky over the azure sea. The stars are bright and twinkling, and it's just a beautiful evening. You set watches throughout the night, usually having people paired off, and the night goes relatively uneventful. Most of you get really good night's sleeps. Irin, you toss and turn a little bit maybe, but the rest of them sleep pretty soundly. Byron, you were able to certainly make an inventory with Irin's help to catalog everything that's in the cargo hold, and with all of your tasks done, the night falls and you drift off to sleep. In the morning, you rise and there's gulls flying around the sea ghost, and it is sunny again. A little bit more of a breeze, and the waves are a little bit. There's a little bit more of a swell rolling through this area along the coast, and the men are already up when you emerge from your various locations. I don't know where everybody's sleeping, but I guess that's a good question. What are you guys claiming for rooms?
there?
There happen to be 4 officers' rooms.
Well, I'd like the captain's quarters if that's all right with everybody.
So this would be that one here.
And Fritz is this.
Oh yeah, Fritz is
has
in this room
That's
here.
the lower deck. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's well, is there an additional room in front somewhere?
Just for the crew, although you could potentially refurbish this room, or this room here could be refurbished into sleeping chambers. Once you get into port, you could get a bed for it and that sort of thing.
Or we could double up. I'm sure there's extra.
There's extra hammocks for sure.
There's extra hammocks we could put in one of the rooms.
You could string a couple more hammocks in Fritz's room, no problem.
Or this one to the right of it.
Yep.
Yeah, the one right
Absolutely.
under the captain's quarters.
Yeah,
with the
you could do
hatch.
that for sure.
That's probably smart.
Ooh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Puts 3 of us in the same room, basically.
Okay, sounds good.
I mean, but we
And then
have this
who's
open,
gonna? Yeah.
so it's like an odd number of rooms, and so who wants to
Theo-
buddy up?
Theo will happily sleep in a hammock. He doesn't care.
All right, I'll take that bed.
In fact, when the conversation comes up about, well, where are we gonna? He's just like, hold on, and he goes and grabs a hammock and he slings it in that lower room and goes, "I'm here. You figure it out."
All right, sounds good. You guys get that all kind of squared away. Morning comes. The men are bustling about, sort of getting things ready, and Fritz comes up to you as you emerge up onto the deck, Rhunar, and says, "All right, Captain, what orders do you give for today?"
All right. I guess we're making sail to Saltmarsh now,
Aye, aye.
right? So make the ship ready.
Yep, he gets started on that with the crew, and he had already begun, so it doesn't take much more than 5 minutes, and the sails are unfurled, and you guys are heading off in the direction of Saltmarsh. You estimate, based on an overview of the maps, it's going to take somewhere between 4 and 5 hours to get all the way back to Saltmarsh. So, a little bit more than a half a day's journey, perhaps. So let's do this. Rhunar, why don't you go ahead and roll your navigation check for me?
Okay.
And you have +1 because of the map.
And that was survival. I could do survival. with that.
Survival or, yeah.
But
Survival
I can't
or
use-
nature.
I don't use water vehicles for that.
Nope.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
Plus
Oh,
1,
boy.
7.
Oh no.
Oof.
I have +5.
Okay. So that's the first roll. Now, Theo, as the helmsman, I'd like you to roll. You do not get the advantage of +1 on this one.
Now I'm scared to roll. Nature or survival, correct?
Correct.
Woo, there we go,
Nice.
19.
It seems like Rhunar might be a little rusty, but he gives you sort of like he charts a course, and you're kind of like, well, all right, but you modify it a little bit with your knowledge of looking at the maps as well, and you're able to make the first hour and a half go pretty smoothly. Somebody
Well,
else, or go ahead.
While that's happening, Theo is going to go, so Rhunar, the good news is once we get back to Saltmarsh, I actually have another crew member to pull on who we can in fact trust.
All right. I'm open to it.
Wonderful.
I
Just
trust
figured I'd
you.
warn you.
All right. No, thanks for the heads up. We have to. I imagine we may need to hire additional crews. So, if you have somebody in mind, it's fine.
Well, she's probably cross at me for leaving her in an inn room for a week anyway. So don't worry. She works for a very good wage and mostly will drink everyone else under the table. But other than that, perfectly fine.
All right.
Somebody roll a d20, either Irin or Byron.
I'm glad you did.
Whoa, nice.
Very glad.
All right.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice roll.
Thanks.
Natural 20?
The Kraken appears.
Or was it?
So the morning it's beautiful, the sunrise, you're kind of sailing into the sun, and Irin, you're sort of up on the bow looking out over the ocean, sort of just enthralled with the coastline and the patterns it makes, and just thinking about sort of how old that rock must be that's exposed along this wave-beaten, rugged coastline. And you look up as you hear this, and you look up in the sky and you see a flock of these hawks that's kind of swirling, almost like in a kettle formation above the cliffs. Not too far from where you are. You're probably, I don't know, 500 to 800 feet off from the cliffs, and so these hawks are sort of spiraling as they're riding these thermal drafts off of the exposed rock up into the sky, and it's quite beautiful actually.
I'll point. Check that out.
That's certainly an omen. I don't know what kind.
Wait, don't I have a spyglass? I'll take out that weird, technological thing that I found in the Dralian estate.
Okay. You pull this strange device out of your bag of holding, and it's on this tripod device, and then it's like this long tubular. It looks like a sight glass or a spyglass because it has lenses on both sides, and you look through it. Roll an intelligence check.
Oh.
You can't quite figure out how this thing works. There's these dials on the side that you turn, and it seems like the image that you can see through this tube sort of changes its depth, but you can't quite focus it. Especially with the boat moving and the birds flying, you actually start to get a little bit seasick as you're trying to sight through this glass. But you get the sense that there must be something wrong with this thing. It's not quite working how you imagined that it would. Might take some more time to figure this thing out.
Shoot.
You continue on your way, and Rhunar, go ahead and roll another navigation check for me.
Right.
+1. And Theo, you actually get a +1 as well because of the map, but you also get a +1 from Runar's 18, so you get a +2 to your roll this time. Whoa, nice.
22.
Nice.
Shivas.
Yeah, very nice. You guys are making great time. I mean, it's not a real difficult navigational feat. I mean, you know that if you follow the coastline long enough, you'll eventually run into the Kingfisher River and Saltmarsh perched on its at the estuary there. But yeah, you're making really good time. You're able to position the ship so that it's getting as much of the benefit of the wind as possible, and you're making your way. Someone roll another d20 for me. All right. That's part of the journey goes relatively uneventful. You've got some time to, I don't know if there's anything you guys want to accomplish during this journey, but if not, we can, if there is, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just assume that Theo and Irin are kind of on deck, sort of watching and hanging out, maybe helping if needed. Or Byron and Irin, I mean, and then Theo is obviously piloting, and Rhunar is navigating. So
I will actually spend some time studying that that technological device.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and you can roll another investigation check for me. Nice. So yeah, you spend some time looking at this thing, and you realize that there's a very obvious reason why this thing didn't seem to be focusing on or working in the way that you thought. There is a piece that appears to be missing. It looks as though some sort of a cylindrical lens type piece has been removed from the long cylinder that forms these spyglass. So there's a whole piece that's missing. And
Holy shit.
with that roll, as you kind of look at where this piece would fit in, it looks as though this the mechanical piece that is gone would kind of slide in and fit into like this locking mechanism that would lock it in place.
Oh. I will take out the tripod and see if they combine.
It's actually on the tripod. It's attached to the tripod.
Okay. Oh, so there's something else that's still missing. I'm not sure if that makes it worthless or if I need to bust into the drowning estate again.
I was just gonna say that.
All right, so for the third and final check, Rhunar, go ahead and roll another pilot check for me.
Okay.
+1. Nice. Okay,
Very
Theo, +2 for you. And then someone else roll a d20 for me. Wow. Yeah, you guys,
27. Good
you guys are falling right back into place, and it feels good. You guys feel like a well-oiled machine.
It's your turn here. Roll a d20.
14.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, rolling waves, beautiful day. Eventually, Irin, you're looking out and you see what appears to be the opening to the Kingfisher River and the cove with the port of Saltmarsh up ahead.
Captain Rhunar, don't you think we should run up the white flag maybe, just to be safe?
I was gonna say, let's run that white flag.
Run up the white flag!
They do so. They follow your orders.
Just in case they can recognize the ship.
Yes, if the military is still there and they may be a little woo-woo, let's just play it safe.
Yeah, and you notice as you look out in front of you that there are two ships still moored in the harbor. Much larger ships than yours. And as you pull into...
They look like the Navy ships that we've seen.
They do, yep. They look like the Myrmidon and the Bannockburn.
I'm going to jokingly yell, ramming speed!
A couple of the guys laugh. That other fucking guy laughs, and so does that one guy.
Yeah,
Fucking
guys!
The guys are laughing.
Well, at least they're with you. Anyway, I'll just sail casual through the port.
Just kind of like elbow on the railing, just sort of nice and casual.
I just wanted to make a Star Wars joke, I'll be honest.
I totally missed it. So are you guys head into port, and you're gonna pull up to one of the docks and dock it?
Captain?
Yeah, let's pull up to one of the docks.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Are the Navy ships anchored or docked?
They're anchored. They're too big to dock in this port.
Right.
But
we can fit.
the ship you're on is a little bit smaller than the Soul of Winter. And the Soul of Winter was docked at one of the docks. So you know that you're not going to have much of a problem with that.
Okay.
So if you recall, you're going to be coming from up here, which is the east. And the Soul of Winter was docked at this dock right here. And the
Sorry.
the Bannockburn and the Myrmidon are kind of out in this area.
I didn't have the map up. Where did you say we were going to dock?
Well, you can dock anywhere you want, really. This is where the
Okay.
Soul of Winter docked, at this
Okay.
dock here. The Bannockburn and the Myrmidon are kind of out in this area. But, I mean, as you get closer into the mouth of the river, it gets shallower, and most of those boats in there are the fishing boats. So you get the sense that probably you're going to dock, in one of these three.
All right. Anybody have a preference?
This one's a good one.
I think closer in is probably good, just in case vampire.
Okay. So let's go to this lower one.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so roll a piloting check for me using your water vehicles and dexterity.
Rhunar or
Yeah. The helmsman, please.
That's a Theo.
Nice.
That'll do.
Yep. Just like old times, you pilot in. You yell out a few orders to Fritz. Fritz calls out the orders to the men. They furl the sails. They prepare for docking, and you're able to just kind of inch your way in with a few minor adjustments from some of the guys, some of the crew members, as they bring you into dock. And Kyle, Tamis, Korga, they all quickly lash the boat and moor the boat to the dock, and you come to a stop, and you are docked.
So, and Theo just kind of turns to Rhunar and goes, "So, does anyone know who the harbor master is? Because they're probably gonna make us pay for this."
Yeah, I imagine.
You probably get a
so.
transient pass.
So let's throw out the plank and I'll disembark and see if there's anybody curious as to what we're doing there.
Yeah, the guys quickly move over with the plank and drop the plank, and you're able to walk down onto the dock. And as you set foot onto the dock, you can see this portly, bald man walking as fast as he can, not running, but doing a fast walk out to your location. He looks about as official as you're going to get in Saltmarsh.
Yep, that's a fucking harbor master.
And he comes up to you and says, "Well, who's the pilot of this ship? Who's the captain?"
That would be me.
And he pulls this monocle out of his shirt pocket and puts it up, and he looks down at a piece of paper that he has in his hand. What's your name then, Captain?
Rhunar Deg.
Rhunar Deg, you say? And he kind of squints at you a little bit. He's an older guy, a lot of really deep wrinkles from a life spent in the sun, on the water probably. He hasn't aged well, but he still contributes to society. He says, "Well, Rhunar, nice to meet you. My name's Philip Venev. I'm the portmaster here in Saltmarsh. And, well, it's a mighty fine ship you go. That's the Sea Ghost, huh? Okay." And he writes down the name of the
now.
ship.
The name will be changing soon.
Yes, yeah, probably a good idea.
It'll change before we leave.
Oh, hello there.
Yes.
Philip
We'll be
Venev,
rechristening
nice to
the
meet you.
ship soon.
Okay. Now I assume you have a bill of lading.
No, we don't.
It's from pirates, dude.
We seized this ship through conquest. It's a new boat.
Seize the ship through. Okay.
You got an entry for that on your form there?
Well, not really. We do require a bill of lading that tells me everything you got in the cargo. I do need the cargo tonnage. Any vessel documents, such as your registration, title, some sort of proof of ownership. Given that this conquest thing, I don't know how that factors into this, but we don't typically get pirates, coming into port.
Yeah, we're not pirates. We seized this
Is there
ship
any
from
sort of
pirates.
vessel ownership documents?
Sure. I'm sure we could find some. Can I
as
get it
you
to
say
in a little
that,
bit?
the Fritz runs down the gangplank and he's like, "Yeah, Captain, I just like you asked, Cap. I got it right here. Got some documents for you." And he's like, "Let me take care of this." And he goes, "Philip, good to see you." And he says, "Oh, well, Fritz, okay. How'd you get wrapped up in this outfit?" And they start kind of talking a little bit. It appears as they
he's
know
been
each
here
other.
before.
Yeah, they know each other. He says, Philip kind of turns to you and says, "Looks like, well, the only thing I don't have is information on the cargo, but you can get that to me later. There is a berthing fee. How long do you plan to be in port?"
Long enough to level up.
3 days.
I'm not sure I understand what that means. Usually
Oh, I mean, like we're taking some downtime. It'll be an extended stay.
It's a sabbatical. 3 days.
Our fees are 50 gold pieces per 24 hours. So
90 gold pieces for 3 days.
No, that'd be 150 by my math.
120.
I can't really give out deals. This is how we make our
125.
living out here.
Wink.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes, like that.
Well, 125. Okay, that'll do. Needs to be paid up front though.
In 24 hours.
I'll pay it.
Okay.
Thank you. No need to be difficult about these things. There is a process here. And you pay him 125 gold.
Yeah.
At that point, Fritz turns to you and says, "Yeah, Captain, I'll take care of things here. The men will want to take some shore leave. But should we be ready to leave in 3 days? Is that what you're thinking?"
I want everyone to report back to the ship every 16 hours. Just in case. And then they can go back if they don't need them.
Well, I mean, they'll be sleeping on the ship every night, I'm guessing, unless they're
Yeah.
sleeping with some of the working ladies, if you know what I mean.
Oh, touche.
And you just paid these guys.
Yeah, they got money in their pockets looking to burn that stuff here in town with some drink and some carousing. But
As long as they stay on the
we,
every night.
yeah, I can ask that they return for each morning. We can be here ready to make decisions if they need to be made. Otherwise, we'll prep for 3 days' time. I don't know if we need any supplies or not, but that might be something to think about as well. You just let me know, Captain, what you need done. And yeah, I'll be here for you.
All right. Thank you.
Fritz kind of puts his arm around the portmaster, Philip Venev, and kind of walks him away from you guys and starts kind of handling the red tape.
Guys, here's what I'm thinking. While we're here, we chill, we relax. I'm going to do a little bit more investigating on the Drowlian estate, maybe. And I'm definitely going to investigate the Soulmoors a little more. But
I would like to help
I get it
with
if you
that.
guys aren't interested in that, so if you're not, I won't bother you with it.
I don't have much more else to do while we're in port, so yeah, I'll help. Also, we should probably go talk to the guard and let them know that we stole a pirate. We requisitioned the pirate ship. What happened? Get paid for that. I like
Yeah.
getting paid for that part.
Yeah. Dave, how should we work this in terms of, I guess the idea was to have like an extended downtime, right?
Yeah, so I guess what I would recommend is take care of connecting with the town council, get your reward, and then
Plan
rest.
on doing that.
I mean, I would tie up that loose end, and then you guys can rest
Okay.
and take
All
your
right.
downtime.
So I'd like to just like make my way into town, and try to find Captain Firebarn.
Okay. Where would you like to look for him?
I'll
Maybe
start at the council hall.
Owl?
Maybe.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, it's the council hall's on the way to the tower.
Yeah,
so-
it's midday. So
And we can stop and talk to Manfred if she's there.
correct. Yep.
Copperlocks, first of her name.
All right, you guys head to the council hall, and you walk in, and there she is, the woman that's always there, without fail, Ethel. Well, if it isn't the Deg Gang, good to see ya.
Ethel,
Wow.
how you been?
Oh, very good. Would you like some candy? Just
You know what?
one
I would-
piece would be okay, if that's
I
okay.
would like some candy.
Just
and I'm
one
gonna
would be
grab-
fine.
All right, I'll just take one.
She remembers last time you were in there, you took a handful of it. Well, how can I help you, dearies?
Ethel, well, we're looking for Captain Fireborn.
Oh,
Is he here
well,
today?
it's just your luck. He's in today. Hold on one second. And she heads back, and eventually she comes and says, "Follow me, gentlemen. Come on down." And
Theo picks up several other pieces of hard candy on the way by.
you're gonna pick up a couple pieces.
Just 3 or 4. He's not greedy.
All right. Are you trying to do it deceptively?
No,
You're not.
no, I mean, it's
She
just
kind-
hard candy.
She kind of looks at you and just kind of shakes her head a little bit. You're a troublemaker, I can tell.
Yes.
The four of you head back to the office of Eleander Fireborn, and as you, she holds the door and sort of ushers you in, and as you walk in, he stands from his desk. Gentlemen, good to see you. Rhunar, Irin, Theo, Byron,
Captain.
you have good news for me.
Yes, we do, actually.
You have a ship.
After a pretty difficult battle, we took the Sea Ghost.
Well, isn't that something?
We have eliminated your pirate problem on the coast.
That's fantastic, and Captain Snake Eyes, what became of him?
Let's just say he didn't survive the battle.
Fish food.
Well, I can't imagine there'll be too many folks crying their eyes out about that result. Gentlemen, fantastic news! Wow, you have done a great thing. The Sea Ghost has plagued our Mariners Guild for quite some time, and yeah, you've done a great service. I know that there was talk of a reward of 200 gold pieces, and I'll get that ready for you guys to pick up in a day or two.
400.
And excuse me.
I mean, you can take out an entire pirate ship. So I think either.
Let's talk about that for a minute now. I know that that there's some cargo that they had been stealing. What's become of the cargo?
This is the thing. This is where I'm saying 200. We also have this ship and all this cargo.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing.
Cargo?
Everything that we found that belonged to the mine, we have returned to the mine.
As
Yep.
agreed upon.
Yeah, Manfred should be getting, notice from her foreman that we dropped that off recently. Not sure how long the postage takes around here, but now we have seized the ship. We intend to keep the ship, but there is cargo aboard that we will probably sell.
Now, of course, you do know that royal agents could lay claim to the ship, it being implicated in multiple crimes.
I guess that possibility had crossed my mind, but we do have the intention of keeping this boat.
Not only that, you have, shall we say, aided the crown extensively. So I believe that you could make the argument that the ship is in the best hands it could be under your supervision, shall we say.
That
What
raises
if-
a really good question. Who's the local crown authority?
Pardon me?
Right.
Who is the local crown authority?
Well, lately it's been Captain Ernst Todt of the Myrmidon, who's been swinging his weight around town. Any of the officers off the Myrmidon or Bannockburn could certainly make an argument that they commandeer the ship, but I think that you have a solid counter argument that why would they want to worry themselves with a small vessel that could be put to good use in your hands. It's all about how you sell it.
Right.
I can tell you this, and he turns to Byron and says, the agreed upon terms were 200 gold, and they will
I
stay
was
that
thinking,
way.
what if you didn't pay us at all, and you put a good word in for us keeping our boat?
I'm gonna nudge him. Take the gold.
Well, now
And
that
you pocket that 200 gold. Wink.
that's not how things work around here, I'm afraid. That money has already been allocated under the agreement that we set forth before you headed out. So
Sounds like we probably don't need an extra word. We've got Rhunar Deg.
what I would
Maybe,
be,
and I'm just spitballing
You guys
here.
feel like
We just
200
do what
gold.
we agreed upon and make it simple.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll take the 200. Thank you very much.
like I said, I'll be able to pull that together for you in a day or two. Where are you guys staying? I can certainly send word.
We'll be staying on the boat. Well, I'll be staying on the boat anyway.
I'll be on the boat.
Very good.
Yeah.
I can send word when the money is ready for you to pick up.
And I don't know what this dock is called, but that's where we're staying. That lower dock.
Sure, down by the Owl End house.
Yeah.
There still is the discussion of any pirate cargo that may have been found.
Right.
Do a list
in the
of all
cargo
the
hold?
cargo.
Right.
Yeah,
how
can
is
you
something like that
show me that
handled
list?
usually?
You have that list with
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. I'll
Let's
show
just
'em the-
list.
Okay. So there is on the list is essentially there's a lot of the silk, and there are I don't know, let's say there's 25 rolls of silk, and there are probably about 27 barrels of wine. And he says, I can't imagine that there's any reason that anybody would be laying claim to this. Were there any markings or any indication of where these items may have come from?
What
Or-
that information?
I guess what I'm trying to get at is one of the most important things to look out for would be a royal seal.
Right.
Oh, I didn't. see
And
anything
if
like
there's
that.
a royal seal or some type of identifier that's like that, that might cause trouble for you should you try to
Sell it.
sell the items.
Okay.
Okay.
As far as I know, we haven't come across any of those seals.
Other than that, the maritime law suggests that anything salvaged is kept by those finding it, so you should be okay with that. I will certainly put in a word, if possible, with the royal authorities. As I mentioned, the argument will be fairly easy to make that the ship should stay in your hands, Rhunar.
Right. And any assistance you might give in that would be great.
Absolutely.
Because I think this
Absolutely.
will only help us help Saltmarsh.
I will. I'll inform Manistrid when I see her next of the progress that you've made. And what do you intend to do now?
We're gonna rest up for a little bit. You know, relax,
Yeah, you've been busy.
enjoy a little downtime. I think. You know, please.
Maybe
let
on
us-
our ship.
What's that?
We need a cook, don't we?
Oh yeah, it would be nice. Happen to know a good cook that's looking for work?
I'll put my feelers out, and we'll find out if there is or not. I'm sure that there's plenty of men looking for a step up. You could probably find any number of eager laborers down in the market area that might be interested in a little bit better working conditions.
Yeah, we're definitely looking to hire.
Very good.
Right.
Well, I will send your 200 gold to the ship, and I know that the council would like to give you some more of a formalized thank you for what you've done. So he opens up a ledger and looks in and he says, we have a council meeting set for, 2 days from today. If you could be in attendance, I think that would be greatly appreciated by not only myself and the rest of the council members, but also the entire town of Saltmarsh. We would like to formally thank you for what you've done here and breaking up this smuggling ring.
All right, yeah, certainly, we'll be there.
Very good. I will send I'll send details along with the gold when it's ready.
All right, thank you, Captain.
Gentlemen, well done and thank you very much. And he shakes all your hands. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right. So the four of you emerge back onto the streets of Saltmarsh, and it is a beautiful day. You feel accomplished. You feel appreciated. You feel like you've done some good for the community. You've done some good for yourselves and your pocketbooks. And at this point, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Let's break for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll do some downtime stuff.
Sweet.
All right.
All right,
Nice.
cool.
That's good.
All righty. All right, so let's start with Irin. Irin, what do you have anything in your mind planned for downtime? You've got like a day to 2 days worth of time.
I'd probably head back to the anvil.
Okay.
Hop in there. I know. What the fuck is that kid's name again?
Safri.
Safri?
Yep.
Is that the kid's name?
Yep.
All right.
And his mom's name is Mafra.
Mefra, yeah. Safri. Mefra. I'll write that down again. I have to write these names down like every other page. Yeah, I'll probably head back there. I know Safri was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm finishing this dagger.
Mm-hmm.
See how that's going. See if there's anything that they need, like made, I can help with.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, so you head over to the Dwarven Anvil, and as you walk in, you can see Mafra is hard at work at the forge, just this clanging sound. You can hear it from like 2 blocks away as you approach the anvil. And she's hard at work as you step inside. Safri is there sort of helping her, kind of running around and getting tools for her. And he looks up as you walk in, and he's like, "Ah, Irin!" And he runs over and he says, "Hey, welcome back."
Thanks.
The clanging stops, and Mafra kind of sets down her tools and looks around and says, "Well, you're back. You're going to be around for a bit this time."
A few days here, at least.
Well, we could certainly use your help around here if you're still willing to help us.
Yeah,
Very good.
I am.
Very good. She says, if you could take over the forge here, I'll show you what needs to be done, and I can take care of a bunch of paperwork that's been that's stacking up. And
yes, I will. Yes, I'll do that, and not the paperwork. I also hate it.
yeah, not my favorite thing to do. That's why it's usually left to the last minute, but it needs to be done nonetheless. So, Safri, help Irin around the forge and get him what he needs. Yes, Mother. And she kind of sets down the tools and takes off her apron, hangs it on a peg, and she walks over to a couple of items. There are a couple of different like grappling hook designs that she's working on right now, and she says, I need more of these made. It looks like she picks up a piece of paper, and it says, looks like I need at least 1, 2, 3. I need 3 more of these. Yep, that would probably be the most help if you could work on these while I take care of some paperwork. At this point, it's probably 1 p.m. or so, so there's like half a work day left in this particular day. But there's plenty of work to keep you busy over today and then the next day as well.
Cool.
So she basically hands over the forge to you, and you pick up the hammer and you start shaping metal. Very quickly, you're back in that zone that you had a little taste of it last time you were here when you were playing around and working on the dagger. And Safri's super excited to have you there. He's there kind of helping you and watching and sort of like taking it all in as you're standing over the forge and just bashing this metal and really doing a great job of recreating these different pieces for these grappling hook designs. As you're working this metal, with each subsequent strike of the hammer on the steel, you start to feel like that sort of in the zone, that flow state that you were in before, where you've been here before. I mean, you've worked metal, and you had your own forge that you worked in back in Iron Gate, and you've felt this flow state before, but for some reason it just starts to feel like there's just so much power that's coursing through your muscles as you're smashing this iron, and you almost get this sense that your hand and the hammer that you're wielding are almost like becoming one, because you're able to transfer so much of your internal energy into these strikes. As the night goes on, and you're starting to get a little winded, a little tired, but the night goes on. You haven't stopped. You're just working. You're in the zone, and these bright blue flashes of light start to emit with each subsequent strike as the night grows dim around you. There's a couple of lanterns in this area, and the forge, of course, gives off light. But you can see this blue glow that kind of erupts each time you smash the metal, and eventually you finish the piece that you're working on, and you get this sense that you're something different. There's something different about the strikes that you were making. You were somehow channeling more of that key energy that you use in combat and for other purposes into the creation of this device, this tool. You look down at the hammer and set it down, and you look at this grappling hook design, and it looks a little bit like the design that Mafera showed you, but it's even better.
Nice.
It's more well forged. At this point, you kind of come to, and your surroundings kind of come back to you, and you can see that that Safri has fallen asleep in a chair nearby. He's snoozing. It's late by the time you sort of realize, oh shit, it's like the middle of the night.
I might like try to dig back into this.
Okay.
And do another one.
Like right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I see him asleep, like I'm like, oh, it's night. Like, but I feel like I probably you got that kind of adrenaline, that fucking power surge rush going, I see him asleep. I kind of look, at this piece that I've made, at the hammer, I feel like, I probably step maybe out into the street for like a minute and grab like a drink in, maybe like 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 steam coming off the body, like you go to a workout, you do a workout in the gym in the middle of the winter, and then you go outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like I'll go back in and try to like get into that zone and maybe even try to like I feel like maybe like this last time, like it was like I'm working and then it happens, and I think like this time I'm gonna like try to like not necessarily force it, but like get there, and like follow it, and kind of more consciously like be aware of like where like the root is, where the where this all this energy, where this stuff is going, like feel the heat of the forge and transfer that energy, that kind of thing, and really kind of get into it as a craftsman.
Yeah.
Of both body and steel.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, and you head back to the forge with this sort of intensity still burning in your veins, and you get right back to it, and you stoke the fire again, and you start working on another piece, and just a little bit of a breather that you took kind of reinvigorates you, and you start working this metal, and you take these pretty sizable swings to just kind of manipulate this thicker piece of metal, and you see this bright blue flash of energy as you channel something. I mean, you're more than this is much more than just a smith at a forge. Like, there's something about whether it's your upbringing or your background, your earlier training, maybe it's just something innate in you as a dwarf. But you harness this energy from deep inside your soul, and nothing else exists at this point except for this swinging hammer, and you lose track of where you end and the hammer begins, and where the hammer ends and you begin. It's just one thing. It's just everything, and all
I feel
things.
Like there's probably like if this was like the montage like video, like there's probably like this like as like the end of the montage scene kind of comes, as it's kind of building into this like harmonious climax, like the scene kind of blurs a little bit, and then where you expect to see like the hammer strike against like the final piece of steel or whatever, it's a fist strike that hammers the last like piece into this tool, this grappling hook, or whatever it is that I'm making.
Yeah, it's like the hammer is almost laying at the side, and you're just beating it with your hands that almost look like a hammer. It's like your hands have become the hammer. And eventually, the montage kind of fades, and it's morning. The town is starting to bustle about, and Mafra comes in, and she's like, "Were you working all night?" She looks over at her son, who's just kind of rubbing his eyes and kind of waking up.
I guess, I guess I was.
She looks over, and all 3 of the grappling hooks are done. Like, they're cooling, and she's like, "My God, the craftsmanship." And she looks at you and she says, "Looks like you've got some things to teach me."
Well,
You go, wow.
I I can do that. I don't know. It was weird.
Well, nonetheless, I can take over for a bit now if you want to get some rest. And
I think
yeah, go ahead.
Do that.
Safri kind of looks at you and says, "Wait, before you go, I've got something for you." And he runs off. And she kind of looks over at you. She's putting on her apron and kind of organizing her tools in her precise little way that she does it. She's like, "He's pretty proud of this dagger that he's been working on since you left."
Excellent.
He comes running back in, and he's like, "Just like I said I'd do. I finished the hilt for you." And he hands it to you, and it's actually really well done. Like the leather lashing that he's tightened around the hilt of this dagger, and there's even like this little like leather thong in the end that has these beads beaded on it. There's five different colored like ceramic beads that are threaded, that this leather strip is threaded through. And it looks, I mean, it's really nice. And you feel it in your hand, and you know, you crafted the metal obviously, but it feels like a nice blade.
Fine work.
Oh, you like it?
Yes, you did well.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Perhaps I'll hire you for some work in the future.
Oh, really? That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
But anyway,
I better
Thanks,
go
kid.
help. I better go help Mom. But
I'll give him like the like hair ruffle. You know?
yeah,
I don't
right.
know. I don't remember how old this kid is.
He's like 13.
Okay.
12,
yeah,
13?
He's hair ruffle age.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably in my 60s. Fuck, I don't remember.
And you're about the same height, probably. He might be
yeah.
slightly
Well,
taller
I'm
than you.
83. I'm 83.
You're- Up to him.
Yeah, he might be a little. You're old.
Yeah.
He might be a little
Yeah.
bit taller than you.
83, 4'2".
Nice. Yeah, he's definitely
Um,
taller than you are. Is there anything else that you want to do on your downtime? I mean, you can certainly come back and help with more work.
Yeah, I'll probably come back. I might, if anybody's about the ship, I might, maybe spend like a day or maybe half a day. Maybe just kind of seeing if somebody can show me, a little bit more what's what about ship side.
Mhm.
Like knots and all the things, because I don't have skill with that. So if we're gonna have a ship, it'd be good if I knew some stuff. Well, obviously I don't have a skill in it, but it's maybe later I'll get one.
Right.
But, and other than that, I would try to find. I want to get a leather workers kit,
Okay.
or leather working tools, because I do have skill in that. And then any other time I'll help out at the anvil, and unless any of the guys have anything they need me to do.
Okay, that sounds good. You could probably find some leather working tools at Kester's Leathers Goods. I'm not sure exactly.
yeah.
You might have to look up how much they cost. I don't know off the top of my head how much something like
Sure.
that costs, but you'd be able to find them there. And
Okay.
yeah, all right, cool. You can go ahead and start your leveling up process.
Sweet.
And you can, for hit points, you can either roll or take the average. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm a roller.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Rhunar next.
All right.
Rhunar, is there anything in particular that you want to do during the day and a half to 2 days that you have in port?
No, just like recuperate from the battle, enjoy the downtime, sip some brandies in my new quarters,
Okay.
and when I'm not doing that, I'm like working on, I'm training on the deck.
Okay. At one
Training-
point
training.
while you're sitting drinking a brandy in your room, you hear a knock on the door.
Come in.
The door swings open and it's Fritz, and he says, "Yeah, Captain, I've got a letter for you. Just arrived." And he hands it to you, and then he heads out.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah, you open the letter, and it's a pretty short letter. It just says, "Rhunar, I heard you're back in town. Come see us." And it's signed Tom and Will Stoutley.
I forgot about Tom and Will. All right. Yeah, I guess I'll go see them.
Okay, and you've been to their house before. I mean, these are people that you're fairly well acquainted with, and you recall that Tom and Will are a married couple. Tom is a retired major in the Royal Marines, Will Stoutly, a retired captain in the Royal Marines. You served under them. Together, they have a pretty long history of service to the crown. They claimed victory in dozens of battles against the Sea Princes and Sawajin and Colianth and all kinds of critters. They have plenty of scars to prove their battles. Captain Will Stoutly is the man that played a pretty significant role, I should say, in your early training as a Marine, and he taught you sort of the dual weapon fighting aspect of wielding two scimitars. And you fought with them during the Battle of Bale Keep. That's the thing that really kind of tied you guys together, defending that fort against a Sea Prince's attack years ago. So you've been to their house before, and you easily make your way up. It's a little bit outside of Saltmarsh on a hillside, very sort of rural. They have a pretty sizable plot of land, a small, modest house with a fenced-in area that they use for gardening, and you also know that they do a bit of training for hire, so they can be hired by local militia, even members of the Navy, to do some specific training for elite warriors. So you'd consider them to be kind of semi-retired.
Okay.
But you make your way to their residence, and as you walk up, you see Tom, the major, sitting out on a chair in front of the cabin, and he's just kind of got his feet kicked up and says, "Well, Rhunar, it's good to see you. Good to see you,
Here
son.
he is. Tom, how are you doing?
Well, I've never been better. I'm fucking retired.
I see that.
It's great."
You guys have a nice place here.
He kind of shouts out. He says, "Will, come on out here!" And you hear some pots and pans clanking inside the house, and the door swings open, and Will comes out. And he's a little bit more serious. He says, "Well, it's about time you showed up, Rhunar."
I'm sorry, fellas. I've been meaning to stop by.
Tom looks at you and says, "Well, you've been busy. That's for sure. We've been hearing all kinds of stories about you around town, making a bit of a name for yourself." And Will kind of turns and says, "Yeah, which seems a little strange given your penchant for keeping a low profile.
Right,
Certainly hasn't
yeah.
played out here, has it?"
No, it hasn't. It was very unintentional, really. It all started on the
Soul of Winter.
Soul of Winter. Yeah, sorry, I drew a blank there.
That's all right.
You know,
We
and then, you know how fate pulls you in one direction or the other. It's
certainly
just-
do.
Seems like it's had a lot for me to do lately.
Well, we've heard some stories about you taking care of a few pirates. Oh, Will, let the man have a sit down before you interrogate the poor guy. And he kicks a chair over in your direction. He's like, "Have a seat, Rhunar. Let's talk for a bit." And the three of you sit there and have a chat, kind of catch up. It turns out that Will was actually at the fight pit the night that you won the championship battle, and he makes a few comments about your technique. He says, "Well, you're a bit sloppy, but I mean, it worked for you. Certainly saw a few things you could improve upon if you're interested."
I don't know. I'm definitely interested, but
Well, I should hope so.
I'm a little surprised and impressed. I thought that was a pretty decisive win.
Well, you know me.
I'm always willing to learn, though.
I'm good at picking out the flaws in anybody's technique.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
and when Will says that, you can see Tom kind of roll his eyes and kind of like he's kind of behind him, like nodding. And he says, "Yeah, he gets on my case all the time about the dishwashing." And Will says, "Well, why don't you come on back here tomorrow? And I got a few things I can show you if you're
All right,
interested."
I'll do that.
Yeah, come
I'll
on,
do that.
bright and early.
Okay.
And then he says, hold on a second. He goes inside, and Tom is there with you, and he says, hey, don't mind him. He's a little bored, let's say. I'm managing a little bit better with the retirement than he is, but he's been training a few guys, which I think you'll meet tomorrow. So make sure you bring your A game tomorrow. Show him what's what. And at that point, Will comes back out, and he hands you 2 jars of. You look at them, and it looks like they're pickles. It's like straight out of the garden. Grow our own cucumbers here, so yeah, you'll dig them.
I gotta tell you, we need a cook on that boat because food hasn't been great lately. These will be nice.
You got yourself a boat too, huh?
Yeah.
Well. I'll see if I can. If anybody I know is interested in going to work on a boat.
Yeah, any recommendation from you would be, amazing.
I'll give it some thought. Why don't you just make sure you're here bright and early tomorrow?
Will do.
All right.
Thanks for these.
Yeah, you've got 2 jars of pickles, so go ahead and put those in your inventory. So
with my string of sausages.
Yeah. Fast forward for now to the next morning.
Right.
And you show up, and it's a little bit different scene. Tom's not around. Will is so there's like this fenced-in area. There's a couple of targets that they use for archery practice. There's a dummy here that they use for sword practice, etc. They've got their gardens and whatnot. But basically, Will is out in the yard with a couple of guys, and they're obviously he's training them. There's 3 guys, and he's training them, and they're just getting started. Like he's just kind of getting them ready to go. And as you walk up, he says, "Well, Rhunar, here we go, gentlemen. This is Rhunar Deg." And they each one of them reaches out to shake your hand. One of them kind of nods at you, and he's got this long black hair and a full beard. The other guys are kind of stoic, but they're all welcoming you. They all seem to be in good spirits, although they seem to be a little tired. And Will says, "These boys are here from the Keelan Navy. Been training them up as a little bit of an elite shock troop for the naval officers. Anyhow, got some things to show you guys today." And he starts launching into this sort of routine where he starts to show, and he focuses mainly on the 2-weapon fighting because that seems to be his specialty. And he gives you guys he shows you this move that you've never seen before, but it's like this really rapid fire 2-sword cut to like the upper torso, possibly throat section of the dummy. And he kind of shows you more so about where his feet are placed and how he's moving his body rather than the swords. He's like, "I know all you guys know how to use the sword. I've seen you in action, but it's all about the footwork." And so he goes through this thing with you and shows you.
So goddamn true.
Yeah. And he shows you like how to maneuver your body weight to be able to execute this move. And then eventually he's like, "All right, so now let's try it in practice." He says, "You 2 pair up over there. Rhunar, I want you paired up with Milos over here." And the long dark-haired guy kind of nods at you and says, "Sounds good." And so you guys pair off and start sort of practicing for a little bit. Just kind of going through slow motion moves. It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever done martial arts, but there's sort of an element of like dance to it. And so you're sort of like moving together and sort of getting this motion down. And after a while you feel like, yeah, I kind of got this. And so you take a little bit of a break, and Will says, "All right, let's give this a shot, gentlemen." And there's some armor that he has everybody put on, some of this specialized training armor. And he says, "All right, Milos, Rhunar, I want you guys to show us how it's done." And so he puts you guys out in the ring, so to speak. And you guys you kind of touch swords and kind of nod at each other. And I'd like you to roll initiative.
Oh, gee. All right. Come on. Oof. Could be better. Oh, there's my token.
Yep.
I rolled a 9.
Okay.
I recognize that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you might have met him before. It's hard to say. Oof.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Milo's.
he's a little bit faster than you are off the take there. All right, so what I'd like you to do is he's going to come at you, right? We're going to use the pit fighting rules to do this.
Okay.
So he's going to choose to use his dexterity as his fighting style, and he's going to come at you with the first attack since he won the initiative. So let's see.
Explain the fighting style again, just real quick.
So you can choose either strength or dexterity as your fighting style, which I'm sure you're going to choose dexterity.
Yeah.
And then you just roll a d20 using your dexterity modifier.
Okay.
So he comes at you and he tries to implement this technique on you, and I rolled a 14. So why don't you go ahead and contest that with your roll?
Okay. Oof.
And he slices your armor across the chest and kind of does this move that pushes you off balance, and you kind of stumble backwards a little bit into the dust. And Will shouts, "Rhunar, position your feet like this," and he shows you and gives you he kind of shows you doing it himself of what it looks like, and you're like, "Oh shit, okay." So let's see. Go ahead and let's roll initiative again for round 2.
Okay.
14.
Yep.
All right. I rolled a 16. All right, so he's going to go ahead and roll. And then go ahead and roll your dexterity. Oh, you just beat him. I rolled a 12. So you kind of you make the adjustment and you knock him over and slice across his. He has like this faceplate on, slices across his faceplate, and he kind of laughs at you. It's like, ah, yeah, nice one. And then let's do the last initiative.
Right. Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Nice roll.
Yep.
Jeez.
All right, so
Hold on.
Deg ain't got no time for that.
no, and it's it's more than that too. It's a 23 with the bonus. All right, so he's gonna come at you quickly with an attack.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, he attacks you. I rolled a 9. Yeah, so the third round, you implement this really dexterous move, and you feel like, oh fuck, I got this. I figured it out. You kind of like unlocked it, and you knock this guy down, and he stumbles back and like falls into the dusty dirt of this training ring, and he just kind of sits on his butt, sort of defeated. And Will says, "Nicely done."
I'll help him up.
You reach out and give him a hand, and he reaches up and says, "Well fought, my friend."
You too.
At that point, the training kind of goes on for the better part of the day. And at one point, when things kind of wrap up, Will is like, leans over and he's like, or he comes over to you, he's like, "Rhunar, I can see that you've progressed quite a bit. over the last couple of years since we last fought together, and you've got a lot of opportunity to grow as well. I can see that. You're a quick learner, and these boys have been working on this for weeks, and you just kind of figured it out right away. So I'm pretty proud of you, and I think it really just boils down to good training and a good drill sergeant. Maybe a little bit of natural talent, huh? And he pats you on the back. And you can kind of see his tough exterior breaks down a little bit, as the day kind of comes to an end, and you can watch him interacting not only with you but with the other guys, and you can tell he really enjoys being a part of like a unit, even though he's retired. You can tell this means a lot to him, and he's pretty happy to see your progress as you figured out this new very dexterous maneuver. With that, is there anything else that you want to do with your downtime? You probably have like a half a day or so, and there was the night too in between that you could have probably done something with if you needed to.
No, I guess not. Not immediately. I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think we'll just.
All right. So go ahead and do the leveling up process as well.
All right.
Byron, what
Right.
what did you have in mind?
Well, I had a few things.
Okay.
Let's see if I can read through my notes. So the first thing I was thinking is I'm going to go to a tavern, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to take out like a piece of paper and a pen. I'm going to start writing like a coded letter to Nasir Kairathi, the leader of the Grad School Elite Lodge of Seekers.
Okay.
Basically detailing the exploits that I've been on so far, and I'll sprinkle in a little bit about what I've deciphered of Aubric's journal, obviously all in code. And I'll mention the metallic blue sheened box in code.
Okay.
And I'll also mention specifically my fighting group that I'm with right now. Rhunar being like the kind of quiet, charismatic leader. Pushing the crew forward. Not saying a lot, but when time starts getting tough, he just tears open the veil of existence and pushes all of our enemies into it. Or out of it, I guess. And then I'll mention Irin and his like craftiness and his like cold, sarcastic humor. But also his obvious tradesman qualities, like his like keen eye for things. And then I'll also mention Theo, and then and like his witty charm, but also the things he does in combat with magic, like the ice armor. I'll bring all this up in code to Nasir Kairathi. And then I'll drop it all off with like maybe I'm finally finding a new group that I could bring into the Seekers. Like I obviously haven't had an adventuring party since my last adventuring party, which didn't end very well for anyone else except me.
I'm suddenly very.
And I'll mention like maybe I'm starting to like come out of my cold stoicism and become to like befriend these people instead of just work with them. And then I'll also ask for him to send me a message back to Saltmarsh, to the old man that I met at the docks. I just for some reason have, out of no reason, I'm trusting him.
You're talking about the smuggler contact?
Yeah, the smuggler contact that I
Yeah,
have.
his name was Malachi.
Yeah. Malachi. So yeah, I'm gonna have him send a response to Malachi. Make sure it's in code, obviously, so that I don't necessarily trust Malachi that much. And then I'll go visit Malachi, actually.
Okay. Easy enough. He's at the same place that you talked to him last time. He's on his porch, smoking a pipe.
Nice.
Well, well, well.
You know, I mean, I don't know. Do you remember our last conversation, Malachi?
Sure.
Um,
You're trying to recruit me to do some work for you, and I told you I wasn't interested in getting involved. Now you're back.
yeah. Well, I mean, you did say you'd put your ear to the ground, didn't you?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure after the amount of time I've been gone, you've heard something. And you don't strike me as a guy who would tell me you would do that for me and not tell me what you found.
Well, I tell you this, one thing that I did hear is that
Go on.
there's some folks around town that are asking too many questions about you and this Deg Gang that you've thrown in with.
Like, who would be asking you these questions?
Let's just say my sources told me that they've overheard folks talking at the snapping line, the empty net, asking questions about Rhunar Deg and his gang. Now, I don't know if they're specifically referring to you, but talking about some sort of strange magic.
I actually know nothing about this. But I am intrigued.
I know you asked me about that Dralian business. Can't say that I've really heard a whole lot about that.
Can you tell me anything about Anders Solmore?
Shit, what do you want to know? I've known him for a long time.
Well, I know him and Albrecht Dralian were doing business at some point. And
Well,
I'd like to
I don't know if they were
more
doing
about that
business so much as I think Anders has some pretty high aspirations.
So you have heard of what's been going on between the two of them.
Well, it's no big surprise after Anders inherited his family's fishing fleet that he was going to try to expand, and Dralian's probably was the most connected guy in town in terms of ports outside of this region. Yeah, Anders and his advisor have been looking to expand into the merchant vessel game for quite some time.
Excellent.
Seems to me like at one point Dralian might have been giving him some pointers, some advice or something. Maybe mentoring him a bit, but yeah, I don't know. That would be kind of strange considering that Solmore would potentially be his competition. But, you know, that Dralian guy was a kind of a queer fella, so I'm not too sure.
Well then, this is interesting information, and I appreciate you relaying this to me.
I'd watch your back. Questions like that, you don't normally hear that sort of thing, but when you do, you take note.
Just tell me this. Were the people who were asking about me and my gang, have you heard of them? Did they wear any distinguishing markings? Did they have any characteristics that I could look out for?
Well, from what my contacts told me, and I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure, is that they didn't recognize these fellers. They looked young, well-dressed, clean-shaven, put together, if you know what I mean.
Your contacts happen to mention where they were staying?
Nope, that's about all I heard from them.
I see. Well, Malachi, it's been a pleasure. Is there any way maybe you know, but do you know how to get message to Gradzul?
Yeah, you'd probably have to send it via via post, either via land or by a ship.
Do you know
Obviously,
the
ship
dock
would be a
well enough
lot
to know
faster.
when the next one's going? The next ship is headed to Gradzul.
I don't, but I know that there's. Well, shit, aren't you part of that contingent from Gradzul? There's another fella that you arrived with.
Yes, Mansell.
Yeah.
I think I'll go to Mansell then. Thank you for the information.
No problem.
And I'll walk off from him.
All right.
The next thing I'm gonna do before I go to Mansell, who's probably gonna be at the Drowning Estate, I'm assuming.
That'd be a pretty good guess.
Okay.
Or on the ship potentially too, the Singing Wind.
Right. This is the Solmar residence.
Sorry, go ahead. I wasn't looking at the map.
20. Is
Yep,
that correct?
that's correct.
Yeah, I'll pop down to the Solmar residence first.
Okay.
And I'll knock on the front door.
All right. Couple seconds pass, and the door swings open, and it's this gray-haired, older gentleman, well put together, glasses. His hair's pulled back in a kind of a man bun. Yes. How can I help you?
I'm looking for an Anders Solmar.
And wait, were you here before? I can't remember
Yes.
if Byron was there before or
I
not.
was. I think I have been here before.
The second time, but not the first time.
Got it. Okay. Hern, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Come in. I'll fetch him. What's your business here? What can I tell him?
Tell him I'd like to talk about Obrig Drowning.
Very good. And he
I talked to him last time too.
he walks off, and he comes back a couple minutes later, and he says, "I'm sorry to inform you that Master Solmar is unavailable currently.
What's he doing?
I can certainly send word when he is available. Where would you be staying?"
There's this new ship in town. It's kind of in the middle of town, kind of near the Oland house.
Ah, yes.
Owland? Yes. That dock.
The name of the
tell
ship?
Right now it's called the Sea Ghost or something like that. But that's not going to be what it's called for very long. It's part of my day. Don't worry about it. But just let him know I'd like him to come to our ship. Him specifically.
I'll tell you what, friend. I'll send you word when he's available, and Mr. Solmar will set the terms of that meeting. Now, if you could be so
like
kind,
me.
and he gestures to the door.
And I'll leave.
Okay.
And I'll walk up to the Drowning Estate and I'll knock politely on the door.
Okay. The door opens, and there's an elderly woman. No, not elderly. Middle-aged woman who answers the door. Yes. How can I help you?
Yes. Is Mansell? Just a second. Mansell Gideon staying here, my lady?
He was up until 2 days ago, but he's been staying on his ship, the Singing Wind. They're preparing for departure.
Spectacular.
You might be able to
That's
find
sweet
him there.
You're too kind. I appreciate you. And I'll let her shut the door.
Okay.
And I will pop over to the Singing Wind. Where's that going to be parked? Probably should have asked.
Probably somewhere down by where the Sea Ghost is, in one of those docks.
Okay. Well, wherever it is,
You're
I'll
able
pop
to
over
find
there.
it. Yeah.
Yep. And I'll pop up to the deck.
Yeah, when you get
maybe
there,
I'll recognize-
it's busy. People are bustling about the dock. You can definitely tell that they're loading supplies. Repairs are, final repairs are hurriedly underway. Men are moving about the ship, and you can see up on the main deck, Gideon is sort of shouting orders around and talking with his advisors.
Perfect. I will pop up to Gideon.
Ah,
And-
Byron Hern.
Ah, man, so it's been gosh,
Haven't seen you for a
4
few
or 5
days.
4 or 5 days, yeah, 3-4 days.
We're
Listen, my
preparing to
obligation-
depart for Grad Sul. We
Ah,
leave in the
see.
morning.
Could you do me a favor and drop a note off to Nasir for me?
Absolutely.
I'll hand him the letter that I wrote.
Okay. He
Um,
takes it and looks at it momentarily and stuffs it in his jacket.
Cool.
Inside pocket of his jacket.
Uh,
Tell me,
I
you
hope your
intend to stay here then?
Investigation is
was
not
under
complete.
the assumption that you'd be returning to Grad Sul with us.
Oh, I'll make it back there, and when I do, I'll look it up. I'll look you up. We'll have a drink. But my business is not concluded here. I have some more to do.
Very good. Well, I wish you the best of luck, Byron. I know. I know that you've got things that you need to take care of, and I will do the honor of bringing this to Nasir and making sure he gets your message.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I'll like do the noble arm clasp thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he
And I'll say
likes
like
that.
safe travels, my friend.
Indeed.
Nice.
Warrior's handshake.
Yeah.
Yeah, the warrior's handshake, even though he's just
Yeah, he's stoked.
he's a merchant.
Yeah. Well, he's a noble.
Noble merchant.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he's pretty jazzed, and now he gets back to his business, and you depart. Anything else you want to do? What
I
else is on
think-
your list?
The last thing was to go to Theo and have him look at this box again.
At the box?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
honestly, like the Outbreak Dralian's journal is one thing, but this box is like an object, and it's taking up a lot of my bag of holding space, and I'm carrying way too much right now. So like, I need to get this shit out of my inventory.
Okay. You're able to find him. Where would he be able to find Theo?
Well,
Theo-
I assume I just wait at the boat for him.
Theo will inevitably, unless something weird happens, end up back at the boat very much on a regular basis.
Okay, so you're able to Theo. At one point, you head down to the ship to take a look at things and sort of check in, and you see Byron sitting on the deck.
And when he sees me, or if I see
In the neck, did you?
what,
You didn't stab anyone in the neck, did you?
I have not heard anyone in at least 14 hours.
I don't know if I should be proud of. Very confusing. Anyway, hello.
Theo, listen, there's one. Just come with me to one of the cabins. This isn't a proposition. Don't take it that way.
Well, now that you said it's not a proposition, of course I think it is, and you're just saying that to save face. You're not helping.
Now listen, get in here.
Oh, yeah, that kind of boy. Okay.
Wait.
Wow.
Okay. So now that we're in
Theo
one
gets
of the
inside,
rooms,
he's like, "What is it?"
I'm gonna open up my bag of holding, dump that box out again.
So many metaphors came and went. Holy shit, that thing is huge.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to open it, and it's driving me nuts. I was thinking about leaving it in one of the hidden caverns, but I don't trust Fritz yet. So I'd prefer to just get rid of the whole thing, but I don't want to just get rid of it because I don't know what it is or what it may contain.
Yeah, I think the second part is the more important, because it's clearly an ensorcelled box to keep people out from it. Nothing that you put in one of those is good.
You help me open it.
I can certainly try.
All right, let's open it. However, I don't know what's an ensorcelled box mean. I don't even know. You're speaking.
magically.
Math terms.
There's something. Oh, hold on for a second. He takes a deep breath, opens his eyes, and they're the bright, creepy blue. And he's gonna start looking the box over again with detect magic. This point, I'm not sure if he previously, took the time to really check like the schools of magic, which I think detect magic gives you, or anything else specific. But he's gonna go over it now with kind of the fine-tooth comb.
Sure. And yeah, when you first did that, it definitely gave off a sense of abjuration magic. So there's a level of protective magic going on here with the enchantment, and it's very strong.
So there's a powerful protective magic on this, which could mean a couple of things. It could mean that it's literally magically locked and can't be opened without magic. It could mean there's a very powerful spell that will protect it that is related to that type of magic. Like, I don't know, you pick the lock, you open it up, and suddenly it's encased in a bubble, and oops, your hands are on the inside and you're on the outside, and you're missing those now. I'm not certain. Look, most of my training in this has either been when my father stuck books in front of me when I was 8, or, learning on the job. So
Roll an intelligence check for me, Theo.
I know. 15.
Yeah, that's what you needed. You get the sense that the magic that is protecting this box could potentially be dispelled. Oftentimes there are like power words that can be spoken that will drop the magic. It's almost like a key to a lock if you only knew what the word might be. But you do get the sense that potentially there's a way to dispel magic.
Okay, so generally speaking, when you do something like this, you don't want it locked indefinitely. You want to be able to open it. So there will be like the equivalent of a key, which is not actually a piece of metal, but in this type, a power word or a bit of poetry that he really, really liked, or whoever enchanted this, or maybe a specific item that you put near it and takes care of it. Or if we knew the right people, we could probably just brute dispel it. But I don't know anyone who can do that.
Well, shoot, I just had a thought. I'm going to look at the box, and I'm going to say to Moa-chan, really, like I'm trying to say a power word.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Just super dramatic.
Moa-chan.
You say this word in a very dramatic voice, very forceful, and you both watch, anticipating what might happen, and the box does nothing.
All right. Do you have any ideas? What we should do?
I mean, I think you might be on the right track. It could be something in the journal. You say the box came off. It came off of the boat that Rhunar Deg, stole it from Fordralian. I don't remember from the journal. Did Dralian know where the box came from?
I don't believe I've read a part of the journal yet that has mentioned the box.
Because that's the thing. Unless we're going to get really creative and you happen to know a local archwizard, I think tracking the story of the box is going to give us the key to open it. Or, you could just check for traps and try and pick it. But again, 50-50 odds losing hands.
Yeah, I like my hands.
I like your hands too, right where they are. Useful places.
Well, but
yeah, we're not going to be able to just open this thing up today that I know of. So we should probably figure out long term how we're going to store it. I think, in the bag is probably a better option. I could put it in my bag. I've got a bag of super elastic storing things too.
No, it's okay. I'll carry it.
I believed in you, and you didn't disappoint me.
I will need your help to stuff this back into this bag.
The innuendo just keeps coming.
It's a good line.
Yeah. So we'll get it back into the bag, and I think that's all I need to do.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So with that, Byron, go ahead and go through the leveling up process, and we'll turn our focus to Theo. Now, Theo, aside from the help that you just provided to Byron, what else did you have in mind for your downtime?
Only a couple of little things. First thing Theo is going to do is go back to the snapping line to try and find sails.
Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with snails.
No, snails, completely different sailor.
Yep.
And essentially give her the good news. We've got a ship. No, literally, I'm first officer on a ship that Rhunar Deg and I
Well.
own.
You've been busy.
Dead pirates are the best pirates. So congratulations, you're hired. Unless you really want to continue sitting in this inn room.
Well, I'll tell you what. I haven't just been sitting idly in this room, if that's what you're implying.
Well, I was kind of using it as an implication to kind of drive you to tell me any stories you might have, so it's worked out.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm eager to depart this town. I feel like Saltmarsh might be getting a bit hot for us.
It's not because of the vampire, is it?
Robbed everyone you know.
I forgot about the vampire, but
Oh, good!
I do feel like, is it possible that we've maybe worn out our welcome? I mean, we've only been here, a week or so, but there are people, and I don't know who they are, but I was told by the proprietor of the snapping line. I don't know if you've met her, but she's a sweetheart. Hannah Rist. She came to me yesterday and told me that people were asking around about your companions that you've thrown in with, especially the one from Gradzul. And there's no big secret that Rhunar Deg has, now not only single-handedly killed Charlotte Volchek, but now seems taken down another pirate, captain of the Sea Ghost. I think if we spend too much more time in Saltmarsh, things might end badly for all of us. But I'm mostly worried about you and me.
I'm not against everything you just said, and in fact, I'm really with you on that. So, yeah, let's get your shit, and I've already got a bunk picked out for you. You can get another one if you want, and by bunk, of course, I mean hammock. But yeah, that's specifically about Byron, the nice man from Gradzul, you say?
Indeed.
Because there's no possible way that he might be involved in a secret organization. Nope. So that's interesting, and we'll have a word with him about that.
I don't know if it has any connection. I know he was here for business with the Dralian, with the Westwind Trading Company, but I also overheard that there was a break-in at the Dralian estate, a robbery. Now, the woman of the house was not injured, but her private guard was not killed. But it appears as though someone broke into the house 2 nights ago. I don't know.
Do you know if they got anything?
I have no idea. That's all I heard. I try not to ask too many questions so it doesn't cast the light of suspicion on me, if you know what I mean.
And it's because you were a clever girl.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to pack my shit.
Oh, she's a velociraptor?
Yeah, you didn't know this, but my character's boon companion is an intelligent velociraptor who also enjoys sailing. So get ready for that sidekick, guys.
That's why you keep her in the inn.
Let her out. Rawr! No.
She starts packing her bags, and she's like, well, I mean, the good news is you're still in one piece.
Shockingly so. The pirates we took the ship from, they were a little bit better geared than I would have expected. So between that and the random sniper the one night with the first officer, there is something the fuck else happening here. Let's get some sea air. Yeah.
Indeed. She goes ahead packing her things and getting ready, and it doesn't take long. She travels light, as do you, and you guys depart the snapping line, paying off the remainder of your tab for the room for the last couple of nights.
Is the owner there?
Yes, she is.
Theo is very makes it a point to thank her personally, slip her a couple of more gold coins just for her discretion.
Oh my! Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and she says I've enjoyed getting to know your friend Sales, and I wish you the best of luck. And then she kind of looks around and leans over and she says, "You guys watch your backs."
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling. Thank you so much. Be careful yourself.
All right, you take care. And
go back to a ship.
Okay. What else did you want to? What else is on your list?
Theo was going to ask around to see if what sort of armor was available in town, because his could use a little bit of cleaning up in places, and he might be looking to upgrade to a slightly different set. I don't know. I heard there was a dwarven anvil somewhere.
Well, yeah, you're familiar with the dwarven anvil. Irin's been talking about it, and you've been there a couple of times.
So Theo will end up there.
Okay. And depending on the timing of it, you might even run into Irin as he's there. But yeah, you go there and you don't get the sense that they have any scale mail or any armor for sale. Mafra comes up and says, "I can certainly work on your existing armor if you'd like me to do some repairs to it. It looks like it's seen some action."
I would absolutely love that, dear, if you don't mind.
If you're looking for something a little bit more special, I would direct you to Captain Zendros over at the Quartermasters of Ayuz. I don't know if you know her already.
Wait, what?
Where the fuck is that?
Wait, I'm sorry, did you say Quartermasters of Ayuz?
I did.
Ayuz, the evil demigod?
Well, yeah. But she is a bit of has a knack for finding interesting items. She might have something that could help you out with some better armor. There really isn't much of an armor in town other than what she might be able to find for you.
Sure she does. She worships a crazy demigod. I have a book on it. It's a terrible book. I'm going to just let that dream go. If you would please just work up my armor and take care of it, I would deeply appreciate you.
Absolutely. And she says, "When do you need it back by? I'm a kind of swamped."
2 days?
Sure, I can do that. It'll cost you 4 gold.
You know what? Here's 5. Get yourself something nice.
Will do. And you depart from the Dwarven Anvil. Anything else on your list?
Not on Theo's. No, at that point, his plan was to just spend the time kind of in and around the ship, getting used to it, keeping an eye on everything, all that.
Yeah, kind of getting reacquainted a little bit more, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You get Sales settled in. She takes up a cot in one of the rooms for the time being until you can maybe furnish a little bit better. I don't know what room she would necessarily be going in. We can figure that out. But at the end of a long day, you lay down in your cot, and the ship, you can kind of feel it swaying in the ocean as the tide rolls in, and the sounds of the waves crashing against the hull kind of lulls you to sleep. And it's been a while since you've had this much opportunity to rest. You've been busy. this past week in Saltmarsh and the Saltmarsh area have been very busy for you and your team. You've accomplished a lot during that time, and as Sales reminded you at dinner, you've earned some much needed rest. And sleep comes really quickly. You drop off into this dark, deep slumber. Again, the rhythmic sound of the ocean kind of soothing, at least at first. But your dreamscape kind of drops this veil over your consciousness, and the power of the waves, the azure sea slapping against the hull of the Sea Ghost, starts to build and grow louder and louder. What was once this sort of rhythmic ebb and flow turns into this sort of chaotic tempest as you start to hear in your mind's eye this wind howling, and you wake up in your bunk as the force of seawater slams into you and knocks you out of your bunk. You flail, your arms and your legs kicking as these waves converge on you in multiple directions, tossing you like a rag doll as you're sinking and swimming against the current, falling farther and farther below the surface. And you can see above you, the surface of the water is illuminated by this kind of yellow glow. You breach the surface as you swim up, and you breach and you gasp for air. Behind you, you hear a huge explosion erupt, and you look over your shoulder and you see the ship burst into flames. Pieces of the mast and the hull splash into the water around you. You can taste the salt of the ocean, and it's mixed with the taste of your own blood. Roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
1 second. Sorry, guys, blew up the ship.
God. I went to I chatted with
You
him.
asleep for 5 minutes.
It wasn't my watch.
Nice. You dodge out of the way, you paddle out of the way as this burning debris splashes next to you and starts to burn and sink at the same time. Pieces of the mast and the hull splash into the turbulent waters surrounding you. You can hear men howling and screaming and calling out in the distance. What do you do?
Swim for shore as fast as he can.
You swim. Roll an acrobatics check for me. Just this desperate paddling, gasping for breath as these waves crash down upon you, and you take in a huge mouthful of ocean water, and you start to sink below the waves, and it's getting harder and harder to paddle. Roll another acrobatics check. You feel your weary body fighting against you as you try to make your way in some direction that you don't really even know what direction you're going in.
Would athletics work?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll an athletics check.
Trained skills are better skills.
Yeah, that's better. You start to, you come up from below, and you breach the surface, and you gasp, and you kind of vomit up some of this salt water as you swim, and you can see up ahead what you think is land, and you continue to paddle, and you find yourself eventually breathing heavy, washed up on a beach as a giant wave rolls you up onto the beach. It's daylight. Suddenly, your face is down in the warm sand. Instinctively, you reach out your hand and you summon your packed weapon, your sword. As you stand up, it shines bright, shimmering in this white radiance that you've not seen before. This shimmering white glow that seems more powerful than you remember. And the strange runic engravings that have been written on the blade now glow in this red, sort of almost like a fiery script. Looking around, you kind of take note of your surroundings. You're on this beach. You get the distinct feeling that you've been here before.
Yeah, he's looking around. The immediate thing he looks for is the ship.
You don't see a ship.
That's fine.
In your mind, you're like, God, where am I? I've been here before. And then you hear this voice. Yes, you have been here before. I remember it like it was just yesterday.
Theo just slowly turns to face where the direction he thinks the voice is coming from.
You spin around and look behind you, and you don't see anybody. You turn around again and you look, and there's nobody. You're on this beach that just seems to go on and on forever and ever.
No, and there's just a moment where he's done looking around, and then he sighs and he just looks down at the sword and goes, hello?
Hello, Theo.
Oh, you can talk. That's, hi. Ha. Oof.
You have survived longer than I thought you would. I'm impressed.
I don't know the right way to respond to that. Thank you?
I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Kalistani. Now, I know you very well. I've been with you for quite some time now. And I can see that your power is growing. And I've come to call on you, the oath that you swore to Krellis. It's time to fulfill that oath.
Oh, shit. Can I at least ask before I do that? Because, okay, yeah, I swore it. I'm in. What was it?
You'll learn the specifics in time. For now, I want you to learn. I want you to grow. We have a purpose, and you will learn what that purpose is. I'm here to help you, and you are here to help me. Together, we will avenge the betrayal of Lord Marshal Zephyrin Tran, the one who originally wielded me. You will help me, and I will help you.
I mean, that seems like a pretty good deal.
Do you understand?
I understand that you are going to avenge your wielder. You are clearly some sort of very intelligent being who happens to look like a sword. And that I'm going to help you, but you're also going to help me in the meantime, which is good. So, what do we do now?
Well, for now, we learn and grow and fight for good. Eventually, the oath will become more clear to you when you're ready, and the power, our power, will grow.
So I swore an oath. I am beholden to. There's powerful force. Am I a paladin?
I don't know. You are a chosen one.
Okay.
Man, he's the chosen one.
Oh, good. Do I do I say hi to you on a regular basis? Or are you more of the strong silent type? Should we regularly get together and talk?
My power is yet fully realized, and I can now only communicate to you through dreams such as this. But as our power grows, that communication may become much easier. For now, I want you to study, learn, and fight for good. And in the meantime, I will help you, and you will help me. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
And as you say that, you wake up in your bunk, and it's the middle of the night, sweating, just sweat dripping down, your clothes are soaked, your eyes are watery, and it's
First
dark.
thing out of Theo's mouth is, fuck, I didn't understand any of that.
And with that, you can go ahead and level up.
Level.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
All right. So, when we reconvene next Thursday, we'll start up back on the ship. You will have since then received some information about the town council's meeting that they want you to attend. You will have the 200 gold reward delivered to you, and then you guys can sort of decide what the next step is for the Deg Gang.
Nice.
Yeah.
welcome to
all
level
level
6, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.